Yeah. Hey. Woo. Wow. Let's go. Untamed. Wake up.
First guy, Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Wake up, 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 wake up.
Shout out to Sherman L.
Wake up, 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 wake up. You better wake up from this dream. Life is not what it seems. This culture is not your reality. You better be a casualty. Cause the life that we lose in the drug and abusing is keeping us off from our greatness. We gotta spread love and stop hating. There are front pages. From murder and death to building our wealth. We moving it stealth. Milking the game till it doesn't
What kind of bounce forever?
I'm crashing on competition. That's an interference.
Forever.
We tired of listening, so
Check 1 1 1 1 1.
Unification amongst us. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up.
That's right. Time to wake up. Fresh edition of First Guy, Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Shout out to Sherman Wells Untamed coming with the theme music.
Man.
You can check it out on Spotify, Apple Music, anywhere you get your music.
Yeah, all streaming platforms, as they say.
Always give me an attitude when I start off with that song. Like, I can't just wake up. I got to wake up.
You got to wake up, wake up, wake up.
Wake up. Man, good morning to y'all. I'm glad you guys getting on early. You know, at 7 o'clock is our hard start for the news. So we like to get on a little bit early to say hello and how you doing to all the First Guy Omaha fam.
Yeah. How
Good.
you doing? How you doing?
Tamika Johnson in the chat with some sunshine. Good morning. Appreciate you. Kimber Snipes is good morning, y'all. Up early. Mama Guy gives us a good morning, fam. What's happening? She says, I've been up. Yes.
All right.
We'll be running in the family today a little bit.
A little bit. I see what you did there. A little bit. Yeah.
Heather Williams gives us a good morning. Mark Manor gives us a good morning. What's up, man? The weather's cooling off out there. I know you smiling.
Yeah.
Riding around cold.
So I say Tamika Johnson bringing in the sunshine, ain't gonna need it.
Need to say.
Here's dropping off over there.
It is, man. It's chilly. I had to kind of, woke up pretty early this morning myself. Like I woke up like 4 and was like, turn this heat on or something like that. Man. Yeah, man. So
yeah, 'tis the season. I'm seeing the pumpkin spice commercials everywhere. Sweaters on sale at Walmart and Target.
I gotta admit, I've been here long enough to be like, Mom, cook that chili. What's that chili?
Man, all right. See, you catching on. You catching on. There's tricks to the trade.
Man.
The method to the madness.
It's real funny, man. This is the first year that I've just been like, I need to make a stew around here. Like,
all right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, stick to the bones.
Heat that up. Mama God says hubby grilled in a hoodie yesterday. Yeah, man. Bring the hoodie out.
Yeah.
The hoodie out.
Man, I will say I did have a nice 82-degree weather day yesterday here in Atlanta, but it's still 4 seasons down here. It's still starting to cool off.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
Crazy. Well, Mark Manners happy about it. He said, oh yeah. Marlon Harrison says happy Monday, First Guy fan. What's up, brother Harrison? Appreciate you coming on in. Heather Williams gives us a good morning. Mama God says, good morning, Mark and Tamika. You guys are saying good morning to each other. I love it.
The fam.
Kimber says she loves this weather.
Okay.
Everybody I talk to is like, I love the fall. And I'm just like, oh no. Fall means like I'm getting old and sliding off into the long winter.
It's the decline, huh? It's all downhill from here.
The leaves is dying and stuff. I like when the leaves are springing up. It's just
come to life. Okay,
yeah, man.
Okay.
But
I love this one.
No, I can understand people kind of been outside all summer, ready to kind of just ease on in the house.
Yeah, it's just a certain kind of charm to this season.
Gotcha.
Football season, and I know you're not into the sports, but it all comes together, man. It comes to a head.
I feel you. Kimber said they can keep the pumpkin spice though.
Okay, I was gonna ask, are you a pumpkin spice kind of gal in the Stanley Cup?
No, me neither. Mama God said, "Buddy, make a mean chili." Okay.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when you brought that
I was gonna say ingredients. Some mean baked beans too.
And for those of you who don't know, we had our kickback. Buddy's supposed to make the baked beans, and instead of the baked beans being made, he had all the cans, all the ingredients in the pot. I was cracking up.
Yeah, I'm about to whip it up right now.
Make it now. Yeah, okay.
All right. See how that goes.
Leg Keister's in the chat. Good morning. Says happy Marvelous Monday. All right,
Okay.
appreciate you. Appreciate you guys coming on in for the hellos and how you doing this morning. Let us know how your weekend was. If you guys did anything fun.
Mark Manor. I'm sorry, I'm still in the chat. I'm sorry.
He said he's a pumpkin spice guy. Like all the things, man. He like all the fall and winter things, man.
Okay.
I look to him. I look to Mark Manor to try to find my appreciation in words about what's going on here when it gets cold, because he always got a post. He always got a post
Man.
about how he loves it. So I'm just like, okay. Pop says
Okay.
I love autumn too. Okay.
Yeah. Wrote a song called Fall in Omaha.
I haven't heard that one, Pops. Did I hear that
Check
one?
that out. Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out. Fall in Omaha. Brings you
Now, as
brings
many years
together
you
like
ain't been in here in the fall, so you still miss it. That you still miss it from back in the day, huh? What's up? Okay, fall in Omaha, man. I don't know. I mean, like I said, me personally, I don't know. I'm such a spring and summer dude that like fall it just means it's starting to get cold, and so all I can think about is winter is coming.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
you already know how I feel about winter. So
I find the charm in all seasons, man. Like I'll be honest. So sometimes very few and far in between. But sometimes I do find myself thinking about winter. Like, you know, something about it, man. You know, you
I find
gotta
myself thinking
find the
about
joys
winter.
in life.
Yeah, I find myself thinking about winter. Like, yeah, I need to get back to the beach.
Right near the beach.
I will say, like in Cali, growing up in Cali, not really seasons so per se. I mean, there was winter. I mean, it was really hot in the summer, definitely cooled down in the winter, but for the most part, they call it moderate weather. I'm just used to it being the same range, 60, 65 to what is it? What's the range? More like 70 to like 100 in there somewhere. So it's not drastic changes. Not they don't start snowing in Cali. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Nah, man. I need a
just gets
seasonal
cold.
change. I need a seasonal change. Ain't nothing like that quiet stillness in the winter. You know what I'm saying? Like you ain't never been like outside in the middle of the winter, middle of night,
Yeah,
just
man.
the
Nah.
wind blowing. That's it.
No, bro, that sounds like death to me right there. That sounds like bleak death to me.
It's peaceful, man.
Yeah,
Twas the night before Christmas.
There's also seasonal depression. So it was,
there you go. There you go.
Kimmer says you gotta live in the present, Paul. Hey, I'm doing it. I done called mom for the chili. I done made some stew.
Yeah, man.
I got the little fake fireplace glowing.
The crackling sound effects.
Magic Miller Jenkins says, I spent last night. Good morning to you, by the way. She says, I spent last night watching children burn alive in Gaza. Oh my goodness.
Man.
You watching them feeds. She says they set tents on fire outside the hospital. Oh yeah. Yeah, man, for the 7th time they hit that hospital. IDF also bulldozed through the UN compound, killing 18 peacekeepers. They're not slowing down with this, man. They're not slowing down.
Man. Actually, we kind of talking about a little bit of that a little later on in the show. Some local senators and lawmakers chiming up on that very situation. So, yeah. Thank you for that, my G.
Black Dynamite in the chat saying no wind and it's dead silent. There is peace in it.
See,
and standing in the snowstorm at night.
Man. Hey,
y'all.
See what Majid's talking about? You better take all the peace you can when you can get it.
Well. I'll leave that to y'all. I've been here 14 years now, man. I don't think I'm ever gonna get used to that. So, yeah. The fake fireplace. I said next time I move, is the place got to have a fireplace if it's gonna be out here. That's really real. I'm ready. I'd be so cold. Sometimes be ready to set this furniture on fire in the apartment. Can't do that.
No.
Can't do that. Anyways, appreciate everybody getting up early for the hellos. How you doing? We got special guests coming in today. Sherman L. Wells is going to be in the house, and also Senator Justin Wayne's coming today. Brother McKinney could not make it today, so he gave us a call yesterday and said he couldn't. So we'll go ahead and get it rolling, man. It is 7:00 if you believe in the concept of time, and you're here for a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning,
happening now.
Hey.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Get ready to chime in. You're listening to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. We're here with
Hey.
all of you, the chat chimers, the ghost listeners, the monitoring spirits. Appreciate everybody joining us today. Do us a favor, share the show on your page if you would, so we can get as many people in the chat having some conversations as we can. We definitely are going to dive into some of the headlines that are really relevant to us here, especially here locally, and we'll be talking about those things coming up. There's also special guests that'll be in the house today. Special guest Sherman Wells is going to give us an update on a lot of things that's been going on here in our neighborhoods in Omaha in particular, and also Senator Justin Wayne, who's going to give us a little update on what's going on is in the legislature and other news as well. So stay tuned for that. Really appreciate everybody who's joins us and that sticks with us pretty much through the whole 2 hours.
Man.
Second hour after 8 o'clock is when we have more of a discussion, more of a kind of a deep dive into stuff. We kind of keep it loose after the 8 o'clock hour and just have some conversation. But for the first part of the hour, we definitely dive into some news. And with that, without further ado, Buddy, what's going on in the world today?
Man, well, a lot going on in the world, but I would like to start off with, what's going on in our own backyard, right? In the community of Omaha and, things connected. And actually, there's a lot of things that we want to give some shout outs to, some love to over the weekend. If you went to any of the festivals, any of the events, definitely feel free to drop that into the chat. Let us know how your weekend was. But we want to kick off with a shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, who will actually be joining us a little later on in the show. Brother Sherman recently received the NAACP award, or at least was tipped off that he will receive the award for a community freedom fighter, man. So again, yeah, definitely a well-deserved award. And I would say, man, Brother Sherman is a fire brand. Definitely looking forward to speaking to him a little later on. But yeah, I would say the honors of NAACPs, man. Like it definitely is beautiful to see, him get recognized. But he's been doing the work and he's gonna continue doing the work, whether he gets awards or not. So yeah, big shout out to Brother Sherman Wells. Also, Mr. K's Clubhouse. Shout out to Mr. K's Clubhouse. All about that, doing it for the babies. Also, shout out to Miss Erica Felt, friend of First Sky, and also friend of Mr. K's Clubhouse. If you don't know about Mr. K's Clubhouse, is a live action children's based kind of reminiscent of Barney and Mr. Neighborhood. Mr. Rogers. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was drawing a blank on that. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Kind of same vibe a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely shout out to Mr. K. Also comes out with the puppets, but doing it for the babies, and we're all here for that.
He's got a movie coming out now, right?
Yeah. He's got a movie. He does several events. He had the pop up, for the Halloween coming up. Actually, it's about that season. Talking about season, so yeah, look out for the Trick or Trunk events coming up. But yeah, there you go. Mr. K's Friendship Fields. Yeah,
The movie. Okay.
yeah,
Looks like
man.
it's out today too, available today. So
Yeah, on YouTube.
YouTube, check him out, man. That's what's up. He
Yeah.
said he had something big coming. I know it's gonna be a movie. That's tight.
Man, I think he's got some partnerships with PBS or some other. Like he's doing some things. He's going for it, and it'd be upon us to support. So definitely, and not just him, but the local babies too. You might see some of your babies there. So yeah, definitely shout out, represent. Also, speaking of shouting out and representing, shout out to the Greek orgs. And recently it was a block party, I believe, down on the Deuce. Shout out to Marlon Harrison for dropping that in the friends of. We talk about HBCUs a lot here on the show, but don't really talk about the Greek orgs, man. Again, several vibrant Greek orgs in the Omaha area that are, doing the work in the community. Of course, we spoke to Brother Kasim Shabazz, who gives a shout out a lot to the Simple Foundation. One of the founders and leaders of the Simple Foundation, Brother Osaka, is actually a part of Omega Sci-Fi. He was actually a mentor of mine back in high school. I was a part of Omega Sci-Fi Squires. So we do community work, Thanksgiving drives and all kind of stuff, man. Again, a lot of people in the community. Shout out also to Brother Aaron, who works with OPA, does some of the work for their hip hop events behind the scenes. He's a part of our organization as well. I believe he's a Sigma. So again, Brother Ejiki, man, it's a lot of people in the community you may or may not know. So I'm actually kind of curious. Anybody in the chat, are you part of any Greek organizations, or do you know anybody a part of Greek organizations? Again, very vibrant history that we don't talk about, but Black culture, well and alive and well in the Omaha area. So.
That's what's
Yeah,
up.
shout out to all the Greeks. Shout out to all the Greeks. Yeah, yeah. Also, shout out to everybody. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I don't know if my mic had feedback, but shout out to all the people out posting and gearing up support for those dealing with Hurricane Milton. Again, although the hurricane has come and gone, still people dealing, with the reaction, dealing with the aftermath. Still a lot of flooding in several areas. People without power, people without water. Again, people's homes destroyed. So people still trying to survive. Let's just call it
Mhm.
what it is. So again, big shout out to those who are reaching out, sending support, sending supplies. Again, several companies from the Omaha and Lincoln areas even going down and sending workers down to help with that. And actually, a shout out to Sherman Wells. I believe you reposted that on the Friends of Paul, as far as Sherman's putting out a call for some family members who are dealing with, again, kind of making an Omaha connection to what happened down there in Florida.
Yeah, yep, sure did. We'll talk about that when he gets on the show about what the updates on all the efforts to raise funds for families that he's
Yeah.
working on.
Yeah, and also there's an impact from Hurricane Helene that we haven't really talked about as far as the hospitals being impacted. There's an IV shortage going around. That
Oh,
we should, yeah. Hey, man, that's a big situation. So, yeah, still impacting, still reeling from the hurricanes down south. So yeah, if you have some loved ones, please check on them. Check on them. Also,
absolutely.
speaking of checking on things, we are still working with the city of Omaha and their lead remediation project. So again, you can check on your lead. Have you checked on your lead situation at home? This is something that's definitely and particularly important to our community. We talk about the history of redlining, undesign the red line, but behind that is the environmental impact of that history. Again, lead, coal plants, it's all still happening. It's all still, man, it's all still being fought. So you have the opportunity though right now to kind of again reverse the curse, if you will, and do something about it. So if you haven't looked into it, there's opportunity to again remove some of the lead in your community, in your area, in your home, paint, soil, all of that. Just check in and free of cost to you. So yeah, why not? Why not?
Yeah, we'll put some more information on that on in Friends of First Sky Omaha, and yeah, just be looking at it on our pages, man. We're going to post a lot of those things. This is kind of the month that they're really leaning in a big way because of it being, they're looking out for the kids this month in a big way too. So
Man,
yeah, definitely check this out. There's a training session that's supposed to be happening on the 26th that we want you to sign up for. It's a free lunch for in-person attendees, and you can learn about what you need to do. So over there at the UNO Barbara White's Community Engagement Center over there on the campus. So definitely check this out so you can kind of learn what you need to do to keep your kids safe from it, and give you some resources, places to call to get that lead out. So yeah,
yeah,
it's not just in the ground. This is they're doing the campaign about the lead in the ground, but there's other places that there's lead in too. Old houses that have old paint has
man.
lead in it. There's a lot of places that
Pipes.
you can, yeah, pipes, all kinds of things. So definitely check into this. And like I said, check into Friends of First Sky Omaha for more information on that.
Yeah. Again, get it done, and it's free of cost, man. You ain't got to pay for nothing. Just report it and have it done, man, and get her done. So there
Yeah.
you go. There you go. Also, a shout out to Majee Miller Jenkins in the chat saying it's Indigenous Peoples Day. Not sure if we mentioned that. Definitely want to give some love and some shout outs to the Indigenous peoples. Actually, a few events in regards to that coming up. Definitely want to give a shout out to the Healing Ribbons Fashion Show, which again is a fashion show, as it states, but for a good cause. Again, Healing Ribbons, the art of healing, stories, stitches, and the sacred. You kind of see the QR code on the screen. So if you're interested in checking that out and can do so, go ahead and scan that. It's going down Sunday, November 17th. So mark your calendars. You still got time at the Creighton University Harper Center. Again, that's 602 North 20th Street, Creighton University Harper Center. Sunday, November 17th, representing the brothers and sisters, the native brothers and sisters. Again, check out some beautiful native fashion, and again, represent the culture. Represent.
Yeah, man. If those of you that don't stay to the end, we always give thanks to the Maha tribe
Yeah.
who we actually spoke to, and we asked them for permission to be here on the land and to speak, and they gave it to us, and they're all about it. And so shout out to the tribes around, and yeah, we always like to show some love. We're all in the same gang for real, in the
Man,
same
man,
boat. One
big
way we
time.
can do this too is there's a sheet here with native owned businesses that you can frequent. Nothing like frequenting indigenous people's businesses on indigenous peoples month. So definitely check
Yeah.
this out. I'll put that on Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. places that you can go to support big time.
Yeah, and we stand with Brother Wells Lavelle, who's building that bridge between black and brown and red, as he called it, man. So there you
It
go.
is.
Yeah, there you go. So shout out to that brother. Yeah, doing
Yeah,
good
this
work.
is also coming up on the 17th. I didn't realize
Oh, okay,
on the
okay.
date. Yeah, this is coming up. So he's got an event that's happening here. You might want to check this out. This is definitely in Friends of First Sky Omaha as well. So for our local Native American friends, being on a red road is a spiritual path towards well-briety. I like that.
Man, yeah, yeah.
Yep. So definitely check him out. Support his efforts and things that he's doing. I think I saw some pictures of him. I think he's out in New York exploring some things a little bit.
Yeah, I did see that. Rubbing some shoulders and rubbing some elbows and shaking
Yeah,
some
man.
hands.
Out there with Charlemagne. What's the name? Charlemagne.
Charlemagne the God.
Charlemagne the God. Yeah.
Hey, you sounded like Webby in that clip. Charlemagne. Y'all got some names.
Charlemagne gang.
Charlemagne and Angela McGee.
Yeah, man.
Anyway,
Shout out
I
to
digress.
Lavelle Wells for doing his thing.
Yeah, man. Doing it big, representing out in New York, man. Again, Omaha abroad, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing like
Speaking of
going
Omaha
seeing how
abroad,
somebody else lives somewhere.
yeah, man. Yeah, man. But also bringing it, not just abroad, but bringing it to the local area. The Midwest Chagona Fest went off. So
Hey,
shout out, yeah. Again, representing not just internationally elsewhere, but right in Omaha, representing the diverse cultures of the city. So again, if anybody went to the Midwest Chagona Fest, we're all about that. Not just the black and red, but black and brown as well. So yeah, let us know. It's
everybody
all
chilling.
really, man. Look at that. The low lows.
Come
If
on,
you
man.
really want to get into it, it's all indigenous, but it's a different conversation for a different day.
Right.
Different conversation for a different day. But yes, several events, several opportunities to represent, support your Native brothers and sisters, indigenous communities. So again, definitely check that out. And last but not least, shout out to Brother Sherman Wells, as we mentioned, he will be on a little later on. He's been definitely showing support for the Phipps family, and it's not really, it's quite surprisingly. This is why we do this section, this portion of the show, as far as community updates, because this is something that I kind of assume would be in major news as far as the KETV, KMTV's Omaha World Herald, but the silent protest that Brother Sherman Wells hosted, led over the weekend, again, in recognition for not just Brother Phipps, but all the individuals, several individuals who had lost their lives at the hands of police. There was a silent protest over the weekend. Brother Sherman Wells led that. And yeah, again, I didn't really see that on any platforms, any news platforms making any headlines anywhere. But this is why we do this segment for our community updates, our headlines, our news. So again, shout out to Brother Sherman Wells for that. Exercising his civic duty. You have the right to peaceably protest. You have that right.
There you
So
go.
there you go. There you go. And again, we'll be speaking to the brother a little later on. In the meantime, between time, we do have some news headlines to get into. Paul, what say you, man?
Yeah, man. Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into that so that we can make some room for our special guest. I see Rome's reviews. Mayor Sanchez says he went to the Chingona Fest. I appreciate
Okay.
you. Yeah, man. Can't wait to see if you took any pictures. Let us know. Well, definitely let us know. Also, Kimra Snipe says Phi Beta Sigma did their homelessness sleep out this weekend. They spent all night outside and collect resources for the homeless community. So,
Yep.
like you said,
Yep.
man, the Greek organization is doing some good work around here. Shout out to Miguel Mason too, who's got a deal going
Yeah.
on with scooters over there on 30th in Ames.
The
I guess
headquarters.
only if you go on a certain day and then say mention them, then you get a discount. So I'll get some more information about that. I did put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha, but I'll try to look it up and make it more recent so you can check out what's going on there. But yeah, man, shout out to the Greek organizations out here for sure.
Yeah, man, doing it, man. Kind of got to talk to them, feature them a little more, see what they got going on. Again, a lot of individuals in a lot of places, both corporate and public, private and public offices. So yeah.
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, between time, let's go ahead and dive into the news. There are some. It's kind of a slow news day, but definitely some things to still talk about and look at. I do want to give a shout out. It's not really an article we'll pull, but this is something that I am seeing in headlines, that I am seeing on multiple news platforms, that I want to draw some attention to, as far as the daily accidents, man. Again, more fatal
Mm.
accidents in the Omaha area as you all make your morning commutes going to and fro this morning, or really anytime you hit the road. Please do so safely. Please keep your head on the swivel. I myself just had to finish a defensive driving class. So, hey, especially if you've been driving a while, maybe take a refresher course. There are definitely some things that even after a decade or so of driving, over a decade, that I thought that I knew everything. But hey, you never know. You can have a refresher course. So again, please drive safely on that road. Get to where you're going, but not only make sure you get to where you're going, make sure everybody else around you get to where they're going as well. So, man, just wanted to put that out there. But also, there's definitely some other things to look into. Voting season is upon us. I am receiving calls about people asking questions. Hopefully, we actually be able to get into this with Senator Wayne a little later on. School choice, medical marijuana debates also going on. If anybody checked out the latest debate between Fargus and Bacon, let us know. But yeah, a lot of questions. Shout out to Flatwater Free Press for releasing that voter guide. If you have not checked that out already, please go ahead and do so. Again, voting is open. Early voting has jumped off to a historic rate. So again, if you have not been able to make it to the polls yet, educate yourself. Do a little more research before, so you can go in ready and prepared. Also, there's a battle of tiff that's going on that we should definitely be talking about. Something going on between Senator McDonald and Mayor Stothert, and she's not falling back. She's actually chiming up, saying that this is all a political move. But we've been talking about Tiff for quite some time here on the show, so I definitely want to dive into that situation. He's actually calling for Tiff to be put on the pause, and even calling into question this beloved streetcar project. So. Yeah, we're definitely going to be talking about that a little later on. But also, speaking of voting, felon voting still an issue too. Speaking of battles going on, and actually we spoke to Sister Jaquela Yarborough on I believe last Wednesday, and she kind of tipped us off just how impactful the whole felon voting situation is, as far as again some of her signatures for her to be on the ballot were brought into question because they might be felons. Again, are they registered to vote? Will they have their voices heard? We'll definitely be talking about that and more throughout the show. As we mentioned, we will have Brother Sherman Wells coming through. Also, put some respect on his name, Senator Justin Wayne, Weathermain Wayne, coming through. So yeah, we're here for the next 2 hours. First Guy Omaha in the morning, live in effect. Paul B. Buddy to God. What say you, man?
Yeah, man. It's going to be an interesting show. I appreciate everybody that's coming through. Again, do us a favor, share the show on your page so we get as many voices in as possible and have some discussion on some of these things. And stay tuned. As Buddy mentioned, special guest Sherman Wells will be in shortly, and also special guest Senator Justin Wayne. We'll have some conversation there. Meantime, between time, we'll take a quick break and come right back. Again, you're listening to a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
My name is Paul B. He's Buddy the God. Let's get busy, y'all. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Yeah, man. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Yeah, feeling pretty good on a Monday. How you guys feeling? Appreciate you joining us on this Monday. It's already the middle of the month, man. 14th of October, and we're here. So let us know how the middle of your month is going. Let us know how you are, just in general. We appreciate everybody that's joining us this morning. I saw Wanda Lewis joined us too over on Facebook. Appreciate you coming on in. Peace. Hello. And appreciate everybody that's coming through. Just want to make sure that everybody remembers that we have the weekly wrap that drops on Friday. And we definitely want you to sign up for this if you get a chance, if you haven't already. Appreciate everybody that has signed up on this. And we're constantly trying to refine the message here and trying to beat the algorithm by speaking directly, going right to your inbox, There's also some surveys and some things on there too that you can feedback, and you can also reply to the email if you want to, if you got some things you want to talk about as well. So we're going to kind of continue the news, presenting it to you, and also having conversation through the weekly wrap. Here's the link in the chat if you haven't already signed up. Highly encourage you to do that, because what we're trying to do is just build a army of people that want to hear what's going on, and be in these discussions. And this is one of the best ways to do it. So shout
Yeah.
out to the team for the work here. Also, don't forget, man, we're still in October. This is Breast
Yes,
Cancer Awareness
yes.
Month. As we mentioned when we at the beginning of the month, we talked a little bit about this. Members of our own family have suffered from this and died from this, and so we always want to acknowledge that this is happening in the month that it is. And of course, men get breast cancer too. Got to go
Man.
check. Everybody needs to get checked for sure. Buddy, I think you mentioned that you have a family member, a male family member that passed away from breast
Yes,
cancer. So
yes, yes, yes.
this can happen.
Rest in peace, Uncle Al.
There you go. Yep, yeah. So just want to acknowledge that before we jump into the situation here. So we'll go ahead and get to the meat of the stories, buddy. What's first on the agenda?
Yeah, this is a story we might actually have to kind of put a pin into it and come back later, or let us know if you want to talk about it a little more extensively, because this is something that, as Kimro points out, we have been talking about here on the show, as far as TIF and the use of TIF, and really the man, just the rampant employment of TIF for multiple high level projects. Really kind of seeing TIF used to redevelop and reshape and resurface the whole corridor of our city. I mean, from the riverfront, all the way up to 72nd and Dodge, with the newly TIF approved uh, uh, Crossroads project,
That's TIF
Crossroads
approved.
Mall. Yeah. Multi $100 million TIF improvements for this, which again is something that we've been having some questions about, and now we're not the only ones. According to the cameras, a point is on the now. Why now? Why now is Senator Mike McDonald putting a request to pause projects such as Omaha Mayor's beloved streetcar project that is being funded by yet again TIF? So much so that we have grown to call it on this show TIF Alley. Senator McDonald has written two letters actually questioning the use, one asking for the issuance of bonds for the streetcar to be put on a vote, and the other asking for a pause on the projects, stating that many new details, quote unquote, have emerged, citing reports from the state auditor. However, Mayor Stothert accused Mike McDonald of using this issue for, as again, Chat Chamber Kimra is saying, political gain. Mayor Stothert says she will not stop using TIF to entice developers to build in Omaha, saying the city is flourishing. Saying, I think Mike McDonald needs to reread my letter. I'm sorry he didn't understand it. Like I said, we almost wrote an essay on each one of his questions, so his questions were answered, according to Mayor Stothert. She went on to say he just didn't like the answer. I think he called me immature. I think if anybody's immature, he's misunderstanding and not understanding state law because it was explained to him. So again, there's definitely a riff on TIF, if you will, bubbling up between city and state. This is something that, again, we've been talking about. We have seen several TIF projects used on kind of the auxiliary of North Omaha. That's kind of the heart of our question. Like, why don't we see that development, that level of development, that type of investment pointed towards the North Omaha area, our communities? And, what does that mean for the evaluation of our communities if all of these things are happening around us? What about us? What about us is kind of the feel. But there's also, definitely some questions about the use of TIF. I'm kind of curious as to, Kimra, your feelings, kind of going to the chat. Kimra, who is also running for office, has ran for mayor, so might know a little bit about that race. Says that Mike McDonald ain't been talking about anything. Keep it clean. She says that he just wants to be mayor. He, like every other politician, you don't see till they want to be elected.
Yeah, I don't really want to spend too much time on this story here. We've been talking about TIF Alley and stuff for a long time too. Like Kimmer said, we've been talking about this for a while.
Right.
And also, so it would be worth. We would have to kind of review exactly what TIF is, TIF tax increment financing, what that means, what's it supposed to be for? Supposed to be for blighted areas and so on and so forth. Why it's being used for downtown and midtown and all these different areas is a question. What does it mean if they don't have to pay taxes on stuff for a while? What does that mean for that area? And getting the money in the area that's needed. So there's a lot to discuss on that too. And yeah, it is interesting that we're talking. It has not been in anybody else's radar right now to be talking about
Man,
TIF right now. To Gene Stother's credit, it does sound a little bit like, okay, this man, he wants to run for mayor, so he's bringing up now in an election season stuff that that we've all been questioning with Mayor Stother for a while. So that's why I kind of don't want to give it too much energy. But yeah, it'd be kind of worth it to go back in and kind of review what TIF is, why it's an issue, what they've been using it for this whole time. And yeah, if it is a thing, I mean, it's still kind of in the news because this Crossroads is in the news right now. Of course, the streetcar still too. They're taking out people's properties and stuff like that to run this streetcar. There's been some controversy going on here with it. So it's understandable. It's just the timing it feels real political. We got too many other things to be worrying about politically right now than that in my opinion.
yeah,
So
yeah. There's a lot. But
yeah.
just my thought is, would be interesting, to use it. You know what I mean? Because this is something that we've been talking about, and I mentioned I want to put a pin in it because later on we will be having a Senator Wayne coming through, and has been vocal about the use of TIF. He's actually kind of been in the rooms and had the conversations with the city and the state as far as how TIF should be used, his idea of TIF, and he's kind of been the one to tip us off about downtown's development and how TIF is going to be used for that. So definitely would love to hear his thoughts on that, among other things, when he comes on. So
Yep. Another thing I'd
there you
like to
go.
get to too, and maybe we can get to this in the second hour, have some more conversation about it. Cameron says I went to Lincoln to pull Mike McDonald off the floor about LB 620. I asked him if he had any dated approved locking up, if he had any dated
Data.
data approved locking up 12-year-olds as adults would work. This is a very, very thing that we're very
Man.
passionate about here on the show. And also Kimra Snipes has been on that tip as well. He says, yeah, when the kid goes to jail, that was his
Mm.
data. So definitely we'll come back and talk a little bit about that in the second hour. Really appreciate that very much. Also, sounds like you guys got some thoughts on TIF as well. We can come back in the second hour and talk more about that. Wanda Lewis says, at what point does areas become no longer blighted? Good question. Rome's Review says there's a stipulation in TIF where funds can be used in areas other than blighted areas if no chance of developing it if it wasn't for TIF. Okay,
Okay.
so we was talking.
Okay.
So again, re kind of familiarizing ourselves with what TIF is and all that as well. Also, Kimmer says I'm on email list for organization in Chicago that studies TIF a lot. Very interesting stuff. I'll share it. Can't wait to hear
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Big time.
Tiff Camera
Yep,
with the
yep.
notes.
That's right. Ain't nothing like no kind of reporting like Kimmer's notes. I can tell you that.
Man,
Yeah,
man. So yeah, again, for those who might have missed those conversations, TIF is tax increment financing, and basically delays property taxes for development for a certain amount of time. I believe it's 25 years at this point. But
yeah.
yeah, more conversation about that coming up. I think we do have our guests preparing to jump into the wings here soon.
Not quite yet, but I'll let you
Okay.
know.
Okay. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the clock. Trying to
Oh,
keep
I
an eye
hear
on the
you. I hear
clock.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
7:29
yeah.
right now. If you believe in the concept of
Okay.
time, so yeah. We'll see. As soon as they jump in, I'll jump them in for sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but in the meantime, between time, yeah, we can continue on.
Yeah, again, try to believe in the concept of time a little more around here.
Well, like I
But
said, I
actually,
believe in the concept of agreements. That's
there
what
you
I.
go, there you
What I'm
go, there
on.
you go, there we go. So we did agree to have a guest on. So yeah, try to prepare for that. But in the meantime, between time, this is something I actually forgot to mention in
But
the
wait a minute, wait. Before you get started on that, speaking of agreements,
Oh,
brother,
okay, okay. See,
brother
I
Sherman
knew
Wells
it.
also believes in the concept of agreements, and he is here on time. So we're gonna give him that. Brother Sherman Wells in the house, bro. What's going
Yo,
on?
what's happening with y'all brothers?
Hey man,
Peace,
it's
peace.
good to see you, bro. We don't have you on here enough, man. We got to bring you back more frequently. How you been?
Man, I've been rocking and rolling.
Man, yeah, we
Yes,
see
you
that.
have.
We see that. Yes. Man,
Where to begin with you, bro? Let's first of all start with you in your psyche, your headspace, the family. How are you and you as a human being doing right now?
You know what? I'm doing pretty good. I can't complain. Me and my kids went shooting the other day. I think Friday we went to the gun range.
Okay.
You know, when I'm in public with them, I be telling them, don't be telling people y'all my kids. They big as hell. My son, I don't know, he's my last born son, but that dude is huge. He looked like a linebacker. And I'm like, man, he huge.
Man, it sprout up like weeds.
Yeah, the biggest one. I think because I was in the jail. I was in jail for about almost a year before he was born. So when I came out, it was just strong. And so he just big. I'm like, oh man.
You can't use it holding up in the moonlight like Kuta Kinte back then.
He holding you up,
man. Oh, that's what's up, man. Spending time with the fam, getting them prepared for everything they need.
That shooting, we all concealed carry people. So, you know, we small little army of people. We got all of our stuff and gear together, thanks to Brother Kasim, making sure we be on point. So
there you go. There you go. Okay. I mean, hey, all for it, man. All for it. They try to act like, you know, when black families are teaching themselves how to shoot and arm themselves and exercising their rights, as you know, Americans can do and Americans of other complexions do, you know, it's kind of viewed the same, you know, or viewed differently. So, you know, shout out to you. Shout out to you. Exercise your rights.
Thanks to them people out there at 88 Tactical. I know people call them Nazis, but we've been invited out there by them people, and that's where we get all our training from. So
okay.
I've had a lot to say about Tactical 88 out there, but but you know, every time I talk to anybody that got their shoots, they say they be out there. You, Senator Wayne, you know what I'm saying? So
okay. I go a little closer to the north side. I go to Inner 10 by Northwest a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
About that. Never heard about that one. I see a hood table in there. I appreciate you guys coming in too. Said I got my CCW some years ago, a must have.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hood Table. Appreciate that very much. Heather Williams giving you a good morning. And yeah, man, everybody in the chat ready. So I appreciate that. I see Miss Cheryl Weston is here too. Thank you.
Hey,
I was just shouting out. I don't know if you guys got the version of the newsletter that just dropped on Friday, but I shouted out all the black media in Cheryl Weston's show, Sherman's show. I kind of feel like, man, right now we got a lot going on. If you want to know what's happening in the hood right now, you got several sources. You know what I mean? But
it's popping off.
They're popping up, but man, we really appreciate you and your show. Sunday Sermon with Sherman is going off, man. Finding out, yeah. Tell us what's the latest, bro. What's the latest? You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's been a lot. You know, I want to shout out Robert Wagner. That dude pulled that the other day, and I just was a part of it. We went to the Omaha Police Department training facility during one of their kid events where they were labeling themselves as the heroes, meet the heroes. And we showed up out there with bloody shirts and basically just telling them, stop shooting us, stop killing us. And it was wow. Yeah, Robert, there you go with his regular paint stuff on.
He came straight from work. Came straight from work to the protest.
Straight from work to the silent protest. And it was really beautiful. The tension in the room was very, very, very thick. I know they were pretty upset that we came in there like that during their hero event. Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty thick.
So it was an event that was open to the public, and you guys just walked on in and said and did a silent protest. Just sit there and didn't say nothing.
Yeah. My sister Sid Kelly right there. Yeah,
Sid Kelly. Okay. Chad China.
Yeah, Sid Kelly. I met her on LinkedIn. You know, I treat LinkedIn like a regular website. So yeah, Lavetti. Yeah, it was pretty dope.
Lots of folks out there, man. That's what's up.
Man, is that Johnny?
We thought we was gonna get kicked out, but you know,
that was my question. How did they respond? How did did they try to kick you up out of the place? Did they, try to act like you weren't welcome? Or
how the dirty looks? I tell you that. 6,000 views later on that video. I don't know what they thinking now. So,
well, I'll tell you what. I saw your call. Your call to actually. I saw you, asking folks to come through when that went down. So I'm glad to get the insight on how that went down and who, the organization of it and everything. Yeah, man. I really, really appreciate the work. That work this is part of all the work, man. We handle a lot of communication. You handle a lot of the on Boost to the Roots action on a lot of this stuff, man. This is the season right now. Journalism is activism for us. So same thing with you. I appreciate the work that you're doing as well and giving us some insight on that day. I saw the pictures, I saw the videos. I was like, man, did they get arrested? Like, what happened at the end?
Right. Went right into the belly of the beast. It was like, man, when Robert gave me said the idea of what he wanted to do, I rock with Robert and Project Nose, so I'm a member of that group. So when he said what he wanted to do, I'm like, man, count me in. You can't be scared. And so, just walking into the building, they initially right at the door, as soon as we start coming in, they got on the phone like, here they go.
Man. And see, I thought that was kind of an Untamed type of action, but you said that was Brother Robert Wagner.
Everything is untamed when it's
yeah.
Robert, he was out of town. It's weird because we was all out of town at the same time. Him, me, Deshaun, Chrome, Tamika, we was all gone, but different places. And me and Tamika was together in Seattle, but we was all out of town during the visual and the press release for Stephen Phipps. So, it was definitely burning me up, but it was a pre-planned out of town visit. I had to go, and we went to a conference out there, and but when we all got back, it's like, okay, it's go time. But Leo held it down. He was here, him and Miss Cavett and the rest of them guys. They was doing what they needed to do to keep it going until we got back. So
man, and definitely appreciate everybody you just named, and more that we probably don't even know about doing the work behind the scenes. But that's really, man, that's what it's really about. Boots to the roots. And you said it. Definitely wanted to dive into the reason you were there protesting is not just the history of the many brothers and sisters, but here we are right now. 2 brothers in particular lost their lives at the hands of police, and just kind of again. If anyone watching didn't check out the Sunday sermon with Sherman with Brother Leo Lewis talking about the whole situation, definitely go back and watch that. And I definitely wanted to talk to you a little bit more about that situation as far as the weekend that we had last weekend. Police targeting two more brothers in our community, and it really just kind of feels like there is a line being drawn, by the police against the community. It seems like I don't. It's not necessarily directly connected, but there is a connection with what's going on with the Los Diablos. Again, the owner and founder of that, miraculously being arrested on something that violation from 92 or something like they had a dig for that situation. So can you kind of speak just directly to the relationship between the police and the community right now, especially given the Phipps situation?
Actually, in about 2.5 hours, I got to meet with the OPOA because I take it right to the people, to them people.
Right.
And so I called them the day they dropped that flyer or whatever you want to call it.
I call it a threat.
A threat. The day they dropped that threat was the same day I called them like, what's up, bro? What we doing? And so it took them this long to meet with me. But today at 10 o'clock, me and Robert and Deshaun will be meeting with them I wouldn't even say putting them on notice. I don't know what it's going to be because you know how sometimes I can be. But, I don't appreciate them doing what they did. And when we was at the church that day, first of all, why are you surveilling a community event? That just don't make no sense to me. Who put you or told you to do that? And then when the moment I grabbed the mic, that's when the Phipps family told me that a couple of their family members got pulled over. I dropped everything and we went straight to the stop. Soon as we get there, first thing I notice is it's all undercover cars and one gang unit car. So it's not even a regular cop stop. This is targeted. You can tell. And they all had on street clothes and they police vests. So, and you got undercover cars, one black on black police car, which is a gang unit car. And the first thing I'm like is, why is all these people in handcuffs? And do you know who this is? No, we don't know who we stopped. I'm like, oh, okay. Do you know we just came from this church thing up here? No, they had a tail light out, so we pulled them over for that. Oh, okay. So then I maybe asked them about 5 minutes later, and they said no, they didn't use their blinker. I'm like,
which one is it?
which one is it? And he like blinker tail light, same thing. You know what I mean? And then that's when Michelle
No.
Moreno was like, no, you seen some black man in the car and you decided to pull him over. Oh my gosh, that drove that man over the edge. Oh, whatever, get out of here. So then we start cussing him out. Michelle is a beast. And so we start cussing him out. Then they let them out the cuffs. And then, that's when they start talking about they had these warrants and stuff. But the initial thing is, why are you harassing or targeting this family? For what? What are you doing? But we know when it's war and war strategies, that's what they do. They target you. They want to make it seem like everybody in the family is bad. So, their goal was to target them and try to make it seem like, we was all up to something. Then they called it an anti-police rally.
Mm-hmm.
And then to try to, the next day apologize sarcastically to me. It was the damage was already done. You already told us how you felt. You already put out the call. You already did the dog whistle to those Trumpers and then people out west to dignify why you are harassing North Omaha. And that's a harassment. It was like being threatened by a gang. That's just what it was. It was a threat from an opposition gang. Which is we're paying you and we're supposed to call you when we feel like we in danger. I don't think so. This is wow, man.
It doesn't help. It doesn't help. And it just kind of, when I saw it, it just felt like par for the course from the police. We expect them to de-escalate, but this is what they do. They put fire, throw fuel to the fire. So very, very interesting. I did want to ask something else though. You mentioned kind of retaliation, the relationships specifically with the Phipps family. I've been seeing some posts on social media. I know you've spoken directly to the family. Can you do you have any information about the relationship between the Phipps family and the Omaha police directly? I've been hearing about some interactions prior to that.
Definitely. Even yesterday for the repass, one of the people who were bringing the obituaries to the repass got pulled over. So again, it's just continuing. But me and Senator McKinney Saturday went and spoke with the whole family while they was gathered, and just basically let them know, we watching, gave everybody our number, but we told them y'all share each other's location. If you even see the lights come on, go live or message, so that way we as a community know where y'all at. They got to keep their head on the swivel and come together as tight as they can to make sure. And it's sad because they're the ones who lost a loved one, but then now they got to go on the defense from these people that's trying to harass them further, just to justify why they killed their loved one. It's wild to me. And one of the questions from them was like, why are they doing this? Why do we have to go through this? And I said, it's not that it's right, but it's what they do. And unfortunately, we living in this good old Nebraska. So, that's what they do. And we all in this corner pocket. So they know they can come to North Omaha like they got on their flyer. You got qualified immunity. Want to go hunting for blacks? Come on to be a cop. We got a pocket in North Omaha where you can get your practice on, your hunting on.
I'm still mad about that. Thinking about them advertisements that are out to be police officers.
Dude,
and, if I see if anybody gets if anybody gets swayed to become a police officer by them looking at this advertisement that plainly says you get qualified immunity on it, with the temperature and everything that's going on, that's more than dog whistle. That's a human whistle right there. Everybody can hear that, bro. Everybody can hear that. Shout out to Chad Chambers. I see Michelle Moreno in the chat. You was just mentioning her. She was out there, right? She says she was talking about that cop. She said that cop was big mad out there.
Very, very mad.
Shout out to Michelle Moreno.
Make sure she followed me home. So she like, I don't trust these people.
Shout out to Michelle.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Also, Matthew Miller Jenkins asking, have you filed any complaints against the officers?
So today, once we talked to the OPOA and then we got another meeting with the chief, I'm trying to dig all the way down, like who told them to be there. We got them on video, so we got their names and everything in their cars. We'll be doing all that because you can't just sit and talk about it and be mad about it. We got to take that and you got to take it directly to them. So that's what we're doing.
You know, for a while we've been talking about the police union. That's been the ones that are chiming up and doing, and seem like they're doing all this targeting and speaking out. But then I thought, then as we were talking about it, we were like, yeah, but the cops are the ones that pulled them over, that pulled that family over. So it's not just the union; it's the police department and the union in cahoots on that. Maggie Miller Jenkins is reminding us the police are a part of the executive branch. Todd Schmatter may be the head, but Mean Gene is the neck that turns the head. And of course, with us talking about some new candidates coming in for mayor, Cheryl Jasmine Harris will be a breath of fresh air. We also know Brother Ewing is running, so you know, we got opportunity to change the head of that person by next, you know, in 2025. Something to think about, because it goes all the way up. We're not just calling for justice for the individual police officers that are doing stuff, but also all the way up to the top, to the head of the police officers, the mayor. So I appreciate you guys in the chat reminding us about that.
Yeah.
Yep. Man, moving on to some other things, bro. Speaking of the Phipps family, there was seemed like there was a little communication with some of the fundraising there, and I just we wanted you to speak on that because we weren't a part of it, so I wanted to know from you what was happening.
Yeah, I think really it came down to us needing to collect the rest of the money. The mother, she's been very distraught and not really communicating with a lot of people. So
understandable.
They didn't know Kasim, and so Kasim made the post. Tamika made the post. One of the family members didn't know who Kasim was and was unaware that they still needed money. So she said something, and then it just took out of control. So, you know, I definitely talked to all of them first. And then it's one of them disheartening moments, though, not from the family, because I can't blame them for being, you know, they are going through it. Yeah, and so and Kasim and Tamika both did exactly what they normally do. We look out for each other when we need help with things. So that the raising money and getting people's funeral done, that's Tamika's lane. We just help her when it get crunch time and she don't got it, then we use our platforms to get the money, right? But what I was disappointed in, and this is the kind of stuff that make you rethink a lot, because so many people, I call them the waiting to hate people. They sit back in the wing and they wait to hate you as soon as they think they got you on something that you're doing that's not legit. And well, it don't matter how much stuff you do, bro. You always got the waiting to hate people, man. They waiting to see you fall, waiting to see, like when they announced that I got arrested, people was like, oh, look, this y'all leader, this is the person you like, what is going on? Like, and you do absolutely nothing for nobody else. But the moment you can try to catch one of us, or you think we done fell off or did something wrong, just waiting to point it out. And that's what they did to Tamika and Kasim, which I'm really surprised, but then again, I'm not, because, you know, first of all, you gotta know Kasim and know who you dealing with. Don't you hopping on his post making threats is crazy to me.
Shows you don't know what you're dealing with.
You're talking about somebody that'll come find you. I'm just like, what is we talking about? But then, you know, you know, and Tamika, like, yeah, if you don't know these two or me and them, like, at this point, I understand you must be in your home, working your job, taking care of your kids with your head to the ground, and don't know until your family becomes the tragedy or something happens and you need the resources, then you'll get to know them. But it's just, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got to get to what, so, you know, I just wanted to get a little bit of word on what happened with the miscommunication, but we definitely need to get to what's going on with the efforts to raise funds for the family. But before we do that, we got a special guest that I'm gonna go ahead and jump in here. We were just talking about her, and Tamika Mease is in the chat.
Okay.
Good morning,
peace.
Sister.
Good morning.
Good morning, Sister Mease. We had you scheduled for Wednesday. I was about to line up and let them know she coming on Wednesday. So I might have messed up the date. I'm not sure, but
yeah, I thought you said Monday. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you what, you right on time anyway, because
perfect.
I was just about to say, I've learned a lot about what you've been doing over the years to help families, and I wanted to really highlight that. That's why I wanted you on the show. So we'll have you on Wednesday too to talk more about that. But I'm glad to bring you on today to speak on some of the things that we're talking about right now, which is raising some funds for the Phipps family and your efforts there. Would you like to first of all, hello, how you doing?
I'm good.
Would you like to? You feeling pretty good today?
Yes, I'm actually getting ready for the funeral. So
Okay.
the
Funerals today.
funeral will take place today, this morning.
Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, and so we were able to turn this sound down. We were able to get the funds together for the family, and that was my main concern.
Good.
So I thank God for that, and I thank everybody that were able to give their contribution and donate so that this burden wouldn't be on this mother because she's
Mm.
dealing with enough.
Man, yeah,
So
it's
Heard that.
yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's not cheap to to bury a loved one, and definitely shout out to y'all for not forcing this family to sell fish plates, on the side of the road,
right,
like really
right.
coming together.
And by
You
the
Hmm.
know,
way, if you see somebody selling fish plates, go buy one because they need the help
Right,
too.
man,
But
right.
good point.
I really was thinking it's a beautiful thing. I watched from behind the scenes, what you guys, your efforts, what you guys were doing to really try to help that family out. So I appreciate all
Hmm.
your efforts, and I can't wait to speak more with you on Wednesday about just your continued efforts the past decade, the past past years. Because I don't think a lot of people know you don't broadcast out how many families and people you be
I
helping
don't.
in situations.
I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah,
And
and I was actually asked by someone yesterday, why don't you put this on your website? Why don't you broadcast this so people know what you do? And it's the integrity that I
Mm-hmm.
maintain and the respect for the families. I don't put it out there, you
right,
know. I don't put it out there individually, out of respect for these families. But just about every homicide that you've heard about on the news, NOCP assists with.
yeah,
And we do that behind the scenes. I don't look at GoFundMe's. We don't ever count GoFundMe's.
Mm.
And the people that come to my aid, or because we're connected. Myself, Sherman, Kasim, we are born and raised in North Omaha. So 9 times out of 10, when a murder or something like this occurs, we know the families.
right.
Mm-hmm.
We're
Yeah,
connected. And so that's how that happens. There is an authentic connection. I don't go and seek these families out like that. There has to be a direct connection in order for me to assist. And I do that because I don't want to bombard families, me as a stranger. So, if I see something's happened, I'll reach out to Sherman. I've reached out, to numerous people, Kasim, Chrome. How can we connect with this family on an authentic level and be of assistance? And so when we work with these families, we go through everything. We go through our services, let them know how we can be of assistance, and they can either accept it or decline it. But
well,
once they accept it, we hit the ground running with assisting them, not just for the funeral service, but before and after care of that. And so, and our organization is the only one that does that.
so can you name your
So
organization for us again? What's the name of your organization?
North Omaha Community Partnership.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we do that, and we have partner organizations like I mentioned on the live the other day, Empowerment Network, Willie Barney, and this is stuff that's done behind the scenes, and so this isn't something that we talk about. Senator Terrell McKinney. If I call Senator up, or either he'll call me up and be like, "Sis, is the family good? Do they need help with anything?" And he comes through. Same with Kasim with the Black Agenda Alliance, and it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's since the existence of North Omaha Community Partnership, the Black Agenda Alliance has been there to assist with public safety, with raising funds or with giving funds. They
I
have
was
written a check. So this isn't anything new. It's just that we don't do it in the public eye.
And I wanted to speak on that real quick.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the strategy behind the way that you guys do business, and not putting your head down all the way from the Empowerment Network to
Hmm.
Untamed to like you said, Brother Kasim. Everybody, you guys do this work
Hmm.
kind of behind the
Untamed,
scenes
definitely.
for a bunch of
Hmm.
different reasons. One reason being that these families aren't charity cases. We help the
Right,
families that need help when they need help, and a lot of times you don't want to broadcast out that you need some
right,
help. You just
Yeah.
want people to come and help. So as First Sky Omaha, we want to be the ones that kind of blow the horn for you guys a little bit, the work that you're doing, so that stuff that like happened last week don't happen. I did not like seeing people talking about y'all being about anybody scamming anybody or any of that mess with all the work that you guys been doing behind the scenes. Didn't like that. That was like you said, in forever haters. Sherman, you said something on your show the other day, had me cracking up about go clean the top, go clean the top of the roof of your microwave, bro. You got other stuff to do than be out here messing with folks this way. You know,
my cousin Sheila always say that people need to go look in the inside their microwave and clean the top inside.
Man.
Have me
Look at
clean
their
the
own looks and crannies.
That's real. That's real.
That's real.
So Miss Mease, I gotta say, we already calling you Queen Tamika. We really appreciate all the effort that you're doing. We'd love to have you back on Wednesday to talk more about some of the things you've been doing over the years, and more importantly, like how people can help y'all. Because, like you said, if you are helping with the families, then you got a direct connection to these families. You're helping with them low key behind the scenes because they might not always want to be out here, being showcased. Then we need to just be helping y'all take care of these families, helping your organizations do that. So we want to do that, and we want you to come on and tell us how we can help more with you guys' organizations in particular.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I can't do it by myself. Sherman, everybody know how, me and the Wells family rock. We support each other, and we can't do this work alone. So even if, Sherman is spearheading this, Sherman already know, hey, say less, just let me know what you need. And it's vice versa. It goes every way, even with Kasim, just let me know what you need. And it goes both ways. We are for the people, and we always have been and always will be. And, to those that don't know everything that we do, you'll know the surface. We all broadcast the surface, but what we do behind the scenes for these families, you won't really hear us talking about it. It's going to be a special circumstance such as this one, where we would, give energy and talk about it so that people can understand. But when this happened on Friday morning, it was the negative people in the community that pushed that agenda, that pushed that narrative, and it's very unfortunate. It's very unfortunate because you never know when it might be you. You never know when it might be your turn, and so, and that's why I pointed out my organization is the only one in the state that does this. You never know when it might be your turn, when it might hit home with your own family. And so we give grace. This was not a feud with us and the family, was so apologetic. It came down to a lapse of communication is what it came down to. And so my organization and the family was never feuding. It was never like that. And it's all love. And we just give grace because they're going through something very difficult, that we only get a seat in, but they're actually going through it. And after the funeral, after the phone call stop, after this is no longer a topic of discussion, they'll still be going through it. And so we give that love and we give that grace because we're sincere, and we'll never do this for $1. And I can honestly say, aside from myself, my brother, Sherman, my cousin, Kasim, we have given our own. We don't sit back and wait for funding. That something like that isn't even funded. But when families fall short and we need to make sure it happens, we give our own. And that goes without question, and that's every time. And we never worry about getting paid for any of this work that we do. God provides my every increase, and I've never gone without. As much as I give, no matter what I make or how little I make, I've never gone without. So I will continue to be a giver and a servant leader. And my partners, my brothers, my cousin, they will continue to be by my side and support me, and I will continue to be by their side and support them.
Yeah, and we right here with y'all. Right here with
y'all.
Thank you.
It's a mic drop. Thank you. Please give our love to the family at the funeral, and take care of yourself. And we'll see you on Wednesday.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good
one. All right.
Peace.
All right. Bye.
Man, powerful sister. True angel.
Queen Tamika.
Man, that's what a true angel looks like, man.
And King Sherman, we still got
Yeah,
you
man.
for a minute, man. We appreciate the efforts, man. You. As a matter of fact, we know we got another special guest coming on here pretty soon, so we got a few more minutes with you. But would love to jump into, buddy. There was another point that we wanted to jump in with Sherman on real quick. I'm trying to see if I put it in the notes here.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me
That
as
was
far as the
pretty much
Phipps.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as far as the Phipps situation, get clarity on that.
Oh yeah. We need clarity on that. So we were just getting ready to ask about raising money for the funeral. Sounds like the money has been
It's
raised.
already done.
Yeah, it was taken care of that day by 5 o'clock. So
Man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Close, and even they say all attention. They say court attention at all costs is one of the 48 laws of power. So even though that situation happened, that attention still helped us get that money. So yeah,
that's what's up.
There you go. Man.
Well, I'll tell you what can you leave us with? What's on the agenda? What's next coming up? What can we help with?
I would say just these 2 meetings with the police. I try my best to say visual with them and try to be somewhat cordial, but I gotta give them the raw truth whether they like it or not. And this ain't my first time having to deal with the OPOA when they use my cousin's picture as a political statement.
I remember that
when he got killed. Yeah, I had to meet with them, and that room was pretty intense.
Man. Gotta get them right.
He caught the shots. It wasn't no strays. It was direct, and that's exactly how I like to be, is direct with it.
Well, I tell you what, I'll be thinking about what happened with Barry Alexander, man, when his group went out there and put them pig heads on the lawn of that joint.
Man.
I think about what Martin said. Look, you can deal with that, or you can deal with me. And so I think that dealing with you should be a little bit easier than
some words. Handle some words.
Let's have some conversation out here. The pig heads on the lawn again. So don't.
Brother Bear, I love that dude. He's in Chicago getting his education piece on. He will be back.
Yes. Shout out to Brother Bear.
That brother is the truth, man.
man. But so are you, brother. So are you, man. We appreciate you, and that is something that we did almost forget, man. And shout out to looks like Wifey is in the chat, reminding us. Received the NAACP Freedom Fighter Award, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, sir. First time ever getting honored by anybody other than Kasim and Tamika.
Man, well deserved, brother. Well deserved.
Pretty crazy time after we had our discussion and meeting, and then next thing I know, I'm getting this. So
there you go.
Hey, I want to say that you that's huge. For years we've been on this show, and Chat Chopper's been like, "Where's the NAACP? Where's the Urban League? Where all this stuff going on? We never hear nothing from them." And then you were the one for the first time, like, "Look, we about to all sit down and have a discussion." That's everybody in the chat that was calling them out for years like that should have done that. Let's call them up and have that discussion. Sit down with them and say what's happening. You guys did that, and it sounded like some good came out of that. What tell me about that meeting?
Yep, some understanding where they was coming from and where they been, and understanding of where they can fit into the community, even though they don't have the national money, they still hold that title. And so they've been able to provide food for the Phipps family, support for the Phipps family, and Cameron and different stuff. And the press conference, Portia Cavett, like all these people, once we sat down and got them to the table and we all came to an understanding, now it's more of a unit of us being able to work together. So it's been pretty good.
Man, that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
I had them on the show. They faced the people, him and Wayne Brown, and so we're just moving forward. I'm not the type of person to keep going over old grievances and 5 years ago and this years ago. Like,
let's move
had
forward.
all that at that table. It was a 3-hour meeting, and it was some yelling and fist pounding on the table and calling names and all kind of stuff that happened. But after that, we came out, shook hands, everything.
There you go. That's why conversation rules the nation, man. I love it.
And so she know.
Okay.
Who was there?
Michelle Moreno. She was in there.
Okay.
Shawnee. Yeah, it was pretty deep.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah. That's what it's about, though, man. We gotta have hard conversations.
Rhea. Yeah, it was pretty nice, and I appreciate them. Robert Penn and Brother Brandon. So yeah, it was about 7, 8 of us. Nikki, Nick Knack, and so yeah, it was just beautiful for them to show up because they understood the importance of making sure they knew where we needed them at in the community, but then to hold them accountable, put their feet to the fire. And like I said, we yelled at each other. We was in the church, so it wasn't no cuss words, but it was definitely some name calling and finger pointing and old
furniture
grievances.
moving.
We got it all out the way.
Some furniture moving, some tables turning in the church. That's what's up, man. Appreciate you, bro. Brother Kasim gave me a call a few weeks back, and like a big homie. Like he called. I'm the big homie to him, but he the big homie to me too. Like a big homie. He called me, and he was like, "Y'all need to have an award ceremony. You don't know how much that does to." I said, "Brother Kasim, say no more. I was already thinking of it now with this call to action with it. So I say that to say you got more awards coming, bro.
Oh man,
on the real.
I appreciate y'all playing that song in the mornings, man. That
hey, keep them coming.
They playing games with your mind.
All right.
And when I wrote that song, it was really a call to action to the young people. I performed it at a Sudanese event one time, and they really gravitate to it because, like I say, you got to wake up from this dream. Life is not what it seems. The culture is not your reality. You got to unplug or be a casualty, and that's because there's so many system people stuck in the system. You got to unplug from that, or you're gonna die because the system that they set up for us, it's not the real. That's not your culture. You are not a N-word, a gang member, a killer. You ain't that. You are a creator. You gotta wake up from that dream because that life is really not what it seems. So yeah, I appreciate y'all pushing that message. When I recorded those songs, it was 5 or 6 songs of message music, and I wanted to make sure I put a message in each one. I had a young man tell me, it's like, he said, it's not preaching, but you definitely get something from it.
There you go.
And I was proud. And he in his 20s. So I'm like, wow, man, that's a beautiful thing that they can get something from it. So
that's what I call lacing it. You got, you know what I'm saying? You got lace it.
Still keep it so it ain't too boring,
Not preachy, not over preachy, good vibe, but you getting something.
And it bangs for real. So we appreciate that, man. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you letting us use the song in the beginning too. I know I didn't ask you, but I was like,
it's all good. You don't gotta ask. That's why when I see y'all playing, I say, let me give them the unedited version for the part. I sent it to you because I appreciate y'all. A lot of people didn't know I still dibble and dabble with the music. I started writing when I was about 8 years old, and I almost got turned off. Like I said, it was a girl. One time I wrote her a poem and she stood up in front of everybody. We was like in 7th grade and read it. Embarrassed me, but it's all good because I'm a lovey-dovey dude, but my wife, she appreciate that kind of stuff.
There you go.
Being lovey-dovey and little corny stuff that people would consider corny. She like it, and so I met my match.
There you go.
Pisces in the pod, I say. Yeah, she a Pisces. Yeah,
that's what's up, man. And then that's another thing that I love, man. Seeing you and the family, man. Strong black family.
Yeah.
27 years later, I don't see how she's still been putting up with me for so long. But
poems and the flowers. What you mean?
There you go. You just told on yourself.
27 years later, bro. And it's funny because we went to school together, and when I used to see her in school, I always liked her, but I just never had the guts to say nothing. I just thought she was too cute. I would never get a shot, And I finally met her at my lowest point, coming fresh out of jail, didn't have nothing. No car, no job, nothing. And she was like, you know what? I remember you. You come stay at the house, but you got to sleep on the couch.
There you go. Hey,
I slept there for 6 months on the couch, got myself together. I didn't have nowhere to stay, nothing. And I was able to build myself from that couch to a relationship. We talked.
So, see that before we get out of here, like you can't just throw that story at us, man. Like we give you your props and how strong you is, but they always say behind a strong man.
Look, man, just the story. That's the most romantic story that there is when a woman is there that will help you, that helps you build yourself up. Is just there to give you the space to do that, and then appreciates that. And women, you get a man for life like that. Look at this, bro.
Man.
Life. I ain't going nowhere because I'll never forget it. And like I said, I was fresh out of jail. I had a car. My car got stole while I was on house arrest, and all my clothes was in the car. So I had the outfit I had on when she met me. That was pretty much what I had. And yeah, she like, you can stay here, but you have to have a job by this time. Da 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 da. And then even once we decided that we was gonna become an item, she like, I don't want no gang members, no drug dealing, none of that. And I had to shake all that stuff just to be with her. And look what happened. You know, it actually took me to my real self. And before that, man, I didn't know what love was, like no real love, you know. So once she loved me enough, I was able to love myself enough. And now you see how I love my community.
Come on, bro.
There you go. There you go. The gift that keeps on giving.
It's the love that keep on giving. And her mama loved her. So, you know, and then they family just loved on me. And so, yeah, man, it just turned into something so beautiful. And then we was able to raise kids and show them the love, you know. So
there you go.
It's the love.
That's
supreme.
what you call it. Love supreme. There you go.
Love supreme. I got to tell you, man, black, especially for black men, always don't really know what it is to be loved half the time. Like,
Man,
Paul, you better say that, bro.
Nobody loved me but my mother. She could be jiving too.
Man.
Yeah. Man.
So I read this article on, man, brought me to tears because I was just like, because the article talked about especially with black men, man, they don't know what getting nurtured means. They only get nurtured by their mamas. That's why I don't mess with a black man's mama. That's really the only nurturing they get. And someday when they get out there in the world, and sometimes they get it from a good woman and don't know what it is yet and reject it.
What it is. And unfortunately for me, my mother, she was not nurtured herself, so she didn't know how. And so I was not raised with her. I was in foster care and all that stuff, you know, and so meeting Cashel was just like, what? This is love right here, you know. And once she introduced it and then I had to accept it. It took me like 6 years of us being engaged before I was able to marry her, because I just didn't think I thought it was about to be, I got you. Right. It proved to be real. And man, dude, I can't thank her enough for even doing that for me and supporting all my craziness and all my ideas, and then allowing me to support other people, from men, women, children. You know, when that shooting happened at Northwest, this young brother called me and he like, man, I need a ride from the school. They had a shooting. I was there. My daughter like, what is you doing there? I said, you know, I got somebody that called me and he goes to Northwest, he's a young man, and I swooped up there and got him, you know. So yeah. I just appreciate them loaning me out to people.
that part. Man, all right, man. Peace to the Wells family, man.
Peace. Well, next time we have you on, we ain't gonna have you on. We're gonna have Queen Cashel on so she can.
There you go.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate y'all, man.
We're gonna let you get going, man. I got a special guest, Senator Justin Wayne, in the chat, and in the chat, he's like, "This story is important for people to hear right now. Let's take all the time we need, basically." So, so we appreciate everybody is recognizing that this is definitely going to be something that you go back to. Send everybody back to this part of the conversation, please.
Love Supreme.
Go to YouTube. When we talk about Love Supreme, we talk about the strong black family. This is what we talk about.
That's it.
This is where it begins. This is how you it spreads out to the community. This is where it all comes from, right here. So appreciate you, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate y'all. Peace.
We'll talk soon.
Peace and love. Peace.
Woo wee, man.
Heavy.
Without further ado, man, we had him waiting for a little minute here. We're gonna go ahead and bring on Senator Justin Wayne in the chat. Man, 8:13 right now in Omaha, Nebraska. How you doing, Brother Wayne?
Doing well. How about yourself?
Man, I'm feeling the love supreme right now, and I appreciate
yes, sir.
In the chat, bro. You recognize it too. Like, how important is that conversation to talk about the strong family first? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's critical. It's something we don't hear about. I think when you think about the trauma that our families go through, showing love and being around love and being around positivity is a must in our society.
Right.
Yeah. And you know, while we have it on the brain, you know, kudos to you and your family. I'm pretty sure it's not easy for your wife sharing you know, all those sessions and special sessions, and you know, being a lawyer on top of that. I'm sure that's long hours. So you know,
that's one of the things that I told my family. We're gonna do more of. So I had to speak last week in Charleston at a tax policy. So they came out there for a couple of days. And so I'm just trying to figure it out, man. We all trying to figure it out. We all trying to figure out these relationship things, and I think that's part of the PTSD and everything that we feel in our society. That it's gonna take us a little minute to overcome, but we're gonna get there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And speaking of that, we just appreciate that you continue to come meet with us, even after your time as a senator is coming to a close. I know you talk about wanting to go coach and be with the girls. So thank you for that. And just how are you? How is the family? How's
Man,
cases? What's going on?
everybody's good, man. Speaking at this event was about the special session and the craziness of it, and we
Mm,
were on a national stage, and everybody was trying to watch uh, how we're going to change our tax policies. And the biggest message I gave them was you can't change your tax policy overnight, and you can't do it during the special session, especially during an election year. Uh, folks don't want to get out of their comfort zone, and they don't want negative flyers to hit them saying they voted for a tax increase or whatever. And so that idea, and part of it's term limits. We talked about term limits and how it affects Nebraska. I mean, Senator McKinney, when he gets back in, he'll be one of the seniors down there. If you think about it, he's only been there for 4 years. You're
Wow.
going to have less than, I think, 35 senators who have 2 years or less experience. And
mm,
Wow.
so, that's important because what happens is the lobby ends up running everything. So the issues we care about, whether it's criminal justice reform and helping folks who look like us, who are in certain income brackets, who maybe are retired, and people who often are voiceless, they ain't the ones out there paying for lobbyists.
Man.
And so when you have term limits like we do and the amount of turnover, so like in my class alone, Hilger's left. He's attorney general.
Mm.
Susan Geis retired. And then the class under me, Paul's passed away. So there goes three people out the rip. But then my class alone, this year, we'll have 14 plus Lama who are all leaving. So you got another
mm,
15 who are. So in the last 2 years, you're going to see 18 or 19 brand new senators. That's a lot of turnover. And again, the people we represent, they don't have the money to pay $10,000 a month for a lobbyist all year round
mm,
down there. So that community or those communities are often left behind because the lobby, they ain't getting paid to talk about their issues.
Man.
So who's there to talk about them? And then who's there to
right.
fight them? Because you know what, the police force and judges and prosecutors and that's just on the criminal side. We are talking about things that are, economic development and small businesses and all. None of them have the lobbyists, but the people on the opposite side, the police officers and all them they do, right? So when you start talking about issues, uh, 12-year-olds going to jail, guess who has a lobbyist and guess who doesn't? The 12-year-old don't have a lobbyist. The
Mm-hmm.
parents of the 12-year-old don't have a lobbyist, but the police officers do and the prosecutors do. So just sitting back and looking at that, and now that I'm traveling a little bit, building my law practice and going around speaking to people about what I learned in the legislature, you get a different perspective when you're not in it and you kind of
Mm-hmm.
step back and you looking at it. And it's like most of the issues that affect East Omaha, there ain't a group down there lobbying for us.
Nope.
You ain't lying.
Nope. Which is why we appreciate you and Senator McKinney so much because it's the representation. The representation is just so few and far between. So it's nice to see a representative who actually represents. You know what I mean? And definitely, taking this time to speak to. We spoke to Ashley Spivey and definitely excited about her race and the perspective of her, continuing that representation for our communities. So there's
Yep.
that. But
Also,
as far as go ahead.
I was just gonna jump in. Mama Guy had a quick question on that term limit thing before we get too
No.
far away from it. What term limit do you think is best compromise?
I've always said 12 years. Either do two, and see, I would do 6-year terms. I wouldn't do 4-year terms. Just takes away one election cycle. It's one more. Corporations can't buy you or try to, figure out how to influence stuff. But if you do 2 6-year elections, 12 years, and how I look at it is, you got that baby in the kindergarten, and now that baby graduated high school. If you
Mm.
ain't made changes
Mhm.
before that baby graduated high school, then you need to go ahead and get out.
Man.
But I would tell you, the 4 years that I'm missing, so I only got two, and I don't have the last four. I mean, you finally learn how the place works. Your sixth and seventh year, and then you got the lobbyists, like particularly the police union, who told everybody, we just waiting for Wayne to leave now. We tried to run a bill
Mm.
3 years ago. We just go ahead and wait 2 more years. Then we'll have a whole new judiciary, and we'll run our bills to allow 10-year-olds to go to prison. and that's what they're going to do.
Union is off the chain, man.
Yeah, but again, it takes that kind of what they call institutional knowledge, to know how to navigate those waters. So thank you for that. And speaking of that, there were some topics specifically that I did want to ask about.
Okay.
If that's all right, just kind of fire some things off. Again, we are in election season. We spoke to Sister Jaquela Yarbrough about felon voting, which again she gave us an insight about how that impacted her race, and that's still something that's kind of raging on, and just kind of wanted to get your take on a feel about where we are right now with that situation and your thoughts about the prospect of that sticking.
I'm gonna keep my words positive just in case
Okay.
Supreme Court justice might run across this clip.
Yeah.
So no, I think
spirits.
it's difficult, right? Like, because you have people right now who can go out and get registered who feel like who right now can't, and we won't know the answer until maybe it's too late for them to register. And then what does that look like if they say both bills that were passed to allow felons to vote are unconstitutional? Where do we start? I think, to me, the latter part, where do we start, is simple. I have a constitutional amendment ready to go. I've had one ready to go. It passed in Florida. It passed in conservative areas. Where you basically have the right to vote unless you're convicted of murder or child sexual assault. So that's one way we could go. So I'm not really worried about if they do say it's unconstitutional. I am worried about the impact it would have on this election. I'm worried specifically around Omaha and Lincoln, the impact that it'll have right there. I think it'll have a huge impact. And looking at the races and the numbers, and you can just use the Vargas race and Bacon race, it's so close within margin of errors. You're talking 5,000 to 10,000 could actually swing a vote. Well, we know that there's at least 10,000 registered felon votings in the Omaha area. So that could definitely impact elections. To me, it's not a complicated issue. I think part of the reason the Supreme Court's taking so long is if they're going to overturn it, they got to overturn some of their own precedent. And even the most conservative courts don't like to do that because it creates instability. And basically, since the beginning of time in Nebraska, not the beginning of time, but since Nebraska was a state, the simple argument is it was always the legislature that passed a bill to say what qualified as restoring your rights. Since 1867, it was the legislature. So this idea is somehow the Board of Pardons is the only person that can do it just hasn't held true. And so how they have to deal with overturning all of that would be very, very interesting. So maybe they are. The one saving grace in Nebraska is you got to have 5 out of 7. It's not just a majority like the U.S. Supreme Court. If you got 4-3 or a 5-4 decision, it carries weight. I mean, a 5-4. So they actually have to find an extra one. And that's what happened in my LB 50 or challenge, is that people are not LB 50, but yeah, deferred sentences. The Supreme Court said it was unconstitutional, but they didn't have enough votes to make it unconstitutional. So we got some nuanced laws around Nebraska about what's unconstitutional. So, but I do think it's definitely causing a confusion right now in the electorate. So they don't know whether they can vote or not.
And so as we stand right now, that could quite possibly impact this year's election.
Oh, 100%. I mean, that's part of the issue. If you talk to the election commissioner, if they come out and say people are off the rolls, what if you already mailed them ballots? Now you got to go find their ballot, and you got to figure out how they voted to subtract that from their vote, right? So like, I don't even know if there's a process, right? Like, there's not even a process probably set up to do that. Not this late in the game. So there's just a lot of confusion about what will happen. And so, and when decisions take this long, don't get me wrong, it's they are dealing with, if they're going to overturn precedent, what that looks like. And honestly, it's political in the sense of they're lobbying each other where people are on the opinion. Like, you may be against something and be like, oh, this is unconstitutional. But how it's worded in an opinion that you might sign is completely different. Like I might think it's unconstitutional for a different reason, or hey, it's unconstitutional, but let's not take it that far. And so, that right there of itself is a negotiation that happens at the Supreme Court level that is political in and of itself. You got to sit down and talk to the other justices and figure out what they are and what they like. So the fact that it's taken a while is not concerning. It's actually kind of glad that it's taken a while, because maybe there's some real conversations going on. But at the same time, it's causing a lot of confusion.
And there's also the fact of the election coming up. For me, it's like I feel like part of this is people dragging things out so that they can affect who can vote in this election coming up.
Well, after it comes out, if they come down on the side that I want them to come down on, I'm gonna be on here talking so positive and great of the court, right? And if they come down the other side, well, might have some different thoughts. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. I am kind of wondering though, with all the attention pointing towards the blue dot, how this will how this will impact nationally, and what kind of scrutiny or added attention will this bring to the state if it does impact the count for the presidential race, which you already know, given Trump is a
and I think all that matters, right? Like I think the Supreme Court, especially one that's now the Supreme Court justice is retiring, so there's a new, I think all of that affects how this comes out, right? Because if hypothetically they rule against this and then a judge decides to take a federal court bench, right? Then they got to deal with how the court is being looked at as the Trump or Harris buy off some, it's not cash buy off, but is there all of that factors into your career and how you rule and how you word things. And so I think all of that plays into why this is taking so long. And I think that's a good thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing that people are trying to make sure words are right in this big of a case. But at the same time, the fallout for that is you got folks who are like, do I get to vote? And kind of feeling neglected and tired of seeing the Vargas Bacon commercials and are getting mad because they can't vote against or for somebody. And then they become disenfranchised. And now, we got our city elections around the corner, and now they ain't engaged at all. They just like, well, don't matter to me. I can't vote. And that's the last thing we want, is people feeling like their voice doesn't matter in any process.
Right.
Speaking of processes, voices mattering or not mattering, how do you feel things are going with this whole winner take all thing? Because I felt like it was in the news a while back, and it felt like it got shot down, but it still remains again, even nationally now.
So I'm gonna say something that's gonna get some Republicans in trouble, but
wait, let me put your full screen here. Go ahead.
This is the best job of me seeing the media take on something and push their own agenda. Like there are now commercials running for Senator McDonald as he's the savior of the blue dot. I know for a fact there are 2 to 3 other Republicans who do not believe in winner take all. And in fact, when it was presented in Lincoln by Senator Slama on a floor amendment, there were 2 or 3 key Republicans who helped me kill the bill. And it wasn't McDonald. I'm just gonna put it out there. Now I like McDonald. He cool with me. Like we did a lot of great things for Omaha. But like when I keep hearing and I keep seeing McDonald, I'm like, I know for sure 2 other ones who. So to me, this was a prime example of the media pushing a national agenda that locally we decided this in the spring. The governor was basically telling everybody for 6 months now, if he can get 33, and there's no way for him to get there, if he can get 33, and everybody thought, oh, now McDonald's on board, he's got 33. Well, again, I know two Republicans who are held no from the beginning. And for their reasons, it's nothing about the party. Their reasons are the same really as mine. When it comes down to it, is we get a lot of national attention. We have millions of dollars pouring in on TV and airways. But more importantly, you have national parties putting boots on the ground here, which means they're staying at hotels. They're spending outside money. Like all that benefits our economy. Why would we want to throw that away? So yeah, like this idea that somehow if McDonald's switched, they still had 33 is a false belief. They don't. Again, this is the first time that I've seen the national agenda be pushed on, and so many people locally just catching on like, oh, we got this problem. it was never a problem.
Interesting.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah,
I tell you
that's
what,
interesting
it
take on
spurred a whole lot of blue dot signs in yards out here, though. That's for sure.
And red dot signs.
In Japan, in Japanese
I
flag.
ain't gonna lie, it's
Yeah.
interesting. My district is interesting, especially my neighborhood, because we got battle of the yard signs going right now in a couple streets. Now there's a Trump flag, and now there's other person looking for a Harris flag. Oh man, it's interesting.
Yeah, I just did a my first door knocking tour with Ashley, and so we walked around some of the neighborhoods, and that's what I saw too. It's like it's reminding me of them cartoons where one person holds up a small sign, then the little bigger sign, then the bigger sign, then the life size sign. It's like that right across the street from each other. So district is interesting.
It is very. I tell people, I remind people though, yard signs don't vote. Somebody still gotta go vote.
There you go.
You said it.
That
Shifting
part.
gears real quick. Tamika Renee, go ahead. I think you got a little lag going on. Go ahead, buddy. Tamika Renee is saying shout out to Senator Justin Wayne as well, who has supported youth initiatives in the background, whether it's on the community level or through the judicial system. We definitely appreciate you, bro. So yeah, man. First of all, comment on that.
We have some really good community providers who look, everything's political, and this is why I want people to be engaged, and why I think we gotta continue these conversations, because that's a prime example. We have a lot of community service providers, and Tamika provides community service where they can't break through with these big state ran or state contracted community agencies. And you have some other ones who can connect to these kids, reach out with these kids, and turn these kids around. And so when you have a Black attorney who is in the room in a judiciary, and they're like, we want to appoint this community service provider for kids on the home program, which that means basically pre-probation, where they can go home and stay with people. What services? And they always look to the attorneys. Well, if you're not from the community, you can never give these organizations a chance. And so she happened to see one of the cases where I fought for organization to be involved in this girl's life, and actually that girl's doing real well. But again, that's why it's important that we understand politics and people are in the right room, because that judge was like, who are you? And I'm like, this is who I'm rocking with, so let's do it. And it's been beneficial. And so it isn't just the politics of the Senate. I think people got to recognize every day there's politics going on, and we got to position ourselves to where we can help make sure we're throwing the rope back to others.
Yeah, there you go.
I really appreciate what you just said. I feel like I want to make that a clip. We're right now kind of in the middle of understanding what Miss Queen Tamika is doing in the neighborhood. We're gonna have her on Wednesday to talk about the years of service that she's been putting in with the community. And I love the way that it is directly connected. I mean, this is chess. We talking about playing chess, y'all.
Yeah, man.
We got places all over the board. Senator Wayne is in the room. He's connecting things with Boost to the Roots. What's going on here? We need both. We need that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a to me. I don't even got words for it because I'm just like, but my mind is blown on. This is the glimpse of this bigger picture that we always are on this show talking about all the time, about how these organizations and people and people in our community are connected, and everybody has their lane, and everybody's doing what they need to be doing to try to make some change and make some difference. And that's why it's important to get the right people in seats. It's also important to support people with boots on the roots. So I just really appreciate what you just explained there on that. That's like a glimpse in the world that we don't get to see.
I mean, there are some organizations that I'm not ready to go head to head with them yet till I get some more facts. But there are organizations that get a lot of money, claim they're helping our youth, open up brand new facilities in our neighborhoods, and over a year and a half have only had one kid be successful out of the hundreds that went through their program. Now, let that be one of our organizations. We won't last 6 months if we can't put some kid up and take them to some ceremony or awards or some nonprofit event and say, look, we're doing well too. If we don't do that, we don't get the same breaks. And so that's what I think is important. People have to understand. And it all comes down to, I hate to say it, voting. And people say, why? Well, the reality is the mayor is going to listen to city councilwoman Amy Melton or somebody out west when she knows there's 32,000 votes that's going to come from that district for the mayor race. It's hard for Councilwoman Juanita Johnson, and some people think it's her fault, whatever, but I'm talking just politics. Let's cut through the personalities. It's hard for people to understand that for the mayor's perspective, that might be 3,000 votes. I don't need that person to pass something on the city council agenda. Wow. Now, if we got 13,000 votes and we got 14,000 votes coming from North Omaha, now she's equal with the rest of her colleagues because our district votes the same way. We got the same turnout. It's just as important. We play a critical role in the election, and that puts her in a position to go have different conversations than everybody else. I'm just telling you, it matters. It matters when 2 years from now, whether it's Vargas or Bacon or running again, if we show up and we're the critical swing, then they got to deal with us. And then you start saying you got to deal with us for 2 years, not just your 10 days before your election.
Yeah. And that's why we say teamwork makes the dream work, because you ain't gonna get nothing done as an individual. That's just not how this country works. It's not. You keep thinking your vote as an individual rather than, teaming up with your community, then your vote ain't gonna matter because you're an individual. But group economics, group movement, teamwork making the dream work. That's how it happens. But I did want to pivot really quickly before we get too far. Time gets too far away from us. This is something that you have been vocal about, and actually speaking of the mayor and Mayor Stothard's messaging. One of the big things to her reelection bid next year, of course, is the development that we've seen in the city, the TIF situation. There's some back and forth going on between one of your fellow senators, and he's calling out TIF. How do you feel about what's going on, what's being said about TIF, and how it's being used?
So if I was running for mayor, this would be one of the issues that I would not. It'd be like me, a dog on a bone every time. And here's why though. It's such an expensive adventure for a small segment of town. It would be different if the streetcar was running through areas that needed actually some movement, right? So from North and South Omaha going to jobs, but how it's being positioned is this is a party train that's going to go from midtown to downtown, and it's not really going to move people. And so the narrative's got to be told differently from the mayor's perspective if she doesn't want to lose this. As far as TIF, I do think there's some fundamental problems with how TIF is being leveraged in this train, right? I do think that there are some problems underneath the law. I do think Mike McDonald is pointing out some things that is right. But I do also know on the flip side, the mayor and their staff has used the most conservative estimates around what this potential growth looks like. Now, I was in Charlotte. I saw a streetcar or a light rail. It was being used quite a bit. But again, it was running through areas that needed this public transportation system. Mm-hmm. So I think there has to be a better job of forget the development. Tell me how this is going to benefit Omaha, and tell me how this is going to benefit everyday people's lives. And I think people are understanding that, because once they keep hearing about TIF, there's a lot of confusion about what TIF is and what isn't. And when I was the chair of urban affairs, we passed a lot of reforms in TIF, 2017, 2018. That was kind of my big thing on urban affairs. But TIF is not that complicated. The problem that I have is it is being abused, and that directly hurts our school funding. And this is where the hypocrisy comes in for me, right? And I'm just going to be 100% transparent with you guys. I don't know how else to be, but the idea that $10 million going for scholarships is going to destroy public schools when we TIF'd over $1 billion in Omaha. Now, what does that mean? That means if you're paying $100 right now and you're getting ready to do a project that's going to, in property tax, that's going to increase your property tax to $300, that gap is the TIF. We're going to take that growth, take a loan from a bank, and we're going to fund that project, that $200 gap. So that means a public school district doesn't get that $200 for the next 15 years and sometimes 20 years. So if we're TIFing $1 billion in the Omaha area, the state only reimburses 80% of that. So we're losing every dollar that we TIF. We're losing 20 cents from our public school system. And that conversation sounds complicated, But all the developers and all the elected people, and including the school board, knows this, but they don't want to get into the political fight of saying we shouldn't use TIF or this is going to hurt public schools because all the money people are using this to make money on their developments. The only time it really became a big issue was when they tried to TIF Crossroads and they went farther north and farther east into those rich neighborhoods right there that are west side. Oh, West Side wasn't having it. You're not tiffing this. We want our property taxes to go to our school.
Wow.
But for downtown Omaha and for North Omaha and South Omaha, yeah, tiffing in the long run is good, but in the short term, it does hurt public funding. And we have to be careful about what we're tiffing. And if all of our downtown is tiffed, that's billions of dollars that'll be off of our taxpayer roll for 15 to 20 years.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is both of them are telling some half truths. But at the end of the day, I think McDonald's going to run for mayor, and when he does that, this is going to be a big issue. And I think the everyday voter sees it as a big issue of $1 billion going to downtown, and how is it going to benefit my neighborhood? And I think that's a hard sell for the mayor.
Like once again, thank you for the clarification on a lot of that. That's you're summing up some things that were kind of loosely floating around for me, and making them concise. So I appreciate that very much, especially this idea of tying it into school vouchers and stuff like that. How much money is actually not going to our schools and our neighborhoods because of TIF? And a good reminder, we talked about TIF earlier today, and because of this situation, it's not nothing we talked on the show about for some months now, came back up because of this, and I almost have to kind of remind people again what TIF is and what it's about. So I appreciate you doing that. I wanted to kind of jump into the chat real quick before you get out of here too. First of all, I missed Mama God up earlier. She says president election is neck and neck. What is your message in this cycle?
Get out and vote. I could tell you how Harris obviously over Trump, but I mean, I could tell you how to vote. But at the end of the day, man, just get out and vote at this point. I mean, I don't know how else to say it. Because at this point, I don't care. I want people to be active because how do I say this? Harris ain't gonna change North Omaha. Trump ain't going to change North Omaha, but every other election on that ballot will change North Omaha, will change and have an impact on South Omaha. So while the president is a big deal, don't get me wrong, I think it sets a lot of international and some other policies that definitely set how we're going as a nation. I mean, who we're voting for school board is more important. Who you going to put on the Metro Transit board? That's a board that I created. It's the first year it's going to be elected. That's going to deal with our public transportation system. And do we want a better public transportation system? Hell yeah. So who we gonna put on there? Those are the things that, to me, at the end of the day, while Harrison and Trump are getting all the hype, those things are what's gonna make a bigger impact.
Yeah,
there you go.
Appreciate that, man. I'm going to go ahead and pass on some of the other things that I'm seeing in the chat right now. We'll get to them another time. We kind of held you long enough. We know you got things to do and places to go. So we appreciate that, and hopefully you'll come back next week and we can address some of these things, because I want to continue to talk a little bit about that TIF stuff, the developers, Anthony Rogers Wright is talking about in the chat and so on. There's more discussion there, bigger discussion there, especially now that we got this baseline of what you just described as far as the TIF stuff is concerned too. But again, like I said earlier, I didn't want to go too far into that conversation because it did feel a little bit like if you're running for mayor, then this is the time to bring these things up and start this fight. And I don't want to put too much energy on that because it's still, the bottom line is still how's this affecting North Omaha? How does it affect our neighborhoods is the real question for all of it. And it's an ongoing thing, whether this brother is speaking up against it or not. So we'll definitely an ongoing conversation with that and have you come back. Before we let you go, any things coming up, any things top of your mind, things we can help, things we can do, things that we need to pay attention to and be on?
No. I mean, I see some comments, and I just want to address the comments on PEI. Absolutely. They're talking about Pacific Engineering. It's not a weapons plant. It's not a weapons plant. They are a research facility who focuses on composites. And what composites are, I'm gonna be real simple here and say you can have a metal tube, you can have a plastic tube, or you can have a composite. And what they've been able to do is come up with a composite that is proprietarily owned to them. And part of what they've done is contracted with DoD. Now, what's one of their contracts is they create the shell, not the shell, the pipe that you would put a missile in if you were on a war tank. And it's a Navy warship. So they've created this pipe that the government can use. Now, it's also used in agriculture. Think about in Africa, actually, is one of their big clients, and one of their countries is they have different kind of water, obviously not as clean water as we have. So it corrodes pipes. Same thing that's happening on a Navy vessel. When you're out at sea and you have salt water, that steel can be corroded by the salt water and the elements. So this composite actually allows this ship to not have to go in for maintenance as far because it doesn't deteriorate as fast. Same thing that we're actually pushing in Africa and a couple other projects that are going on from this company is that it can be used in agriculture. Now, so I wouldn't want to say it's a weapons. They don't create weapons. That's their main thing is a composite. Now, it's bringing 100 to 150 jobs that pay over $50,000 to $60,000 baseline starting. So yeah, I think that's a good economic tool to create jobs in this area around engineering. So that's what that company is about. But do I know all the details of their classified information and who they provide stuff to? No, I don't have that kind of clearance. I just know that they do some contracting work. And so if that's the case, then, there's a lot of companies that we should not have here who sell bags to the military, there's just things that happen. But this is a company that came to North Omaha. They want to build a plant here and they want to do research and design here. And again, I think that's a good thing for what we're trying to do in North Omaha.
Right on, man. Appreciate you answering that. That was something that we were talking about coming up and more clarification on what kind of plant it is. Definitely needed more information. So I hope that helps. And I appreciate you coming on, explaining that and breaking it down. So once again, man, we always appreciate you coming. You always are dropping the mic on several occasions during the interview and come with a wealth of knowledge that we draw from all the time. So we hope you keep on coming back with us here for the rest of the season at the very least. And yeah, man, anything that's coming up, anything you got going on, political or otherwise, that we can do, we can help, we can be a part of, let us know.
We'll do. And the comment that they got public money, they were part of the same grants that everybody else got. So that list came out. They were on that list for they were one of the first companies named on the list. And in fact, during the hearing testimony, just so people don't understand how transparent this is, they came down and talked when we first introduced the original bill as one of the people who could move to North Omaha. So they've been around, they've been public, they've been sharing their thoughts. So you can go back and Google the original bill, and they're one of the first testifiers to say, we would love to come to North Omaha, and here's what we do. So it isn't like, behind the closed doors was done. This was public. So they got their contract and they put in their grant, no different than y'all putting in y'all grant.
Yep.
Y'all, they didn't have as many headaches as y'all, but I'm just
they got a little more than 50, I'm sure.
that part. But I do remember you mentioning, there were some prospective plants and some engineering firms. You didn't quite say who it was or what they'll be making, but you did mention there were some engineering firms that may be coming at some point.
Right. And I don't know enough about the company per se, because as you guys went through your process, we really didn't have anything to do with that, except for passing the legislation and then argue with DED the whole time. Well, that was our role.
There you go.
Don't remind me, man. I'm finally passed it. Give me PTSD.
Talk about PTSD. Yeah.
All right, y'all be good, man, and have a good week, man. Just remember, leave the world a little better than how you found it.
There you go. Appreciate you.
All right, brother. Y'all be good.
Peace and love. Peace and love. You do the same. All right.
Always a pleasure. Senator Justin Wayne, always a wealth of knowledge. Every time he comes on, I got to go back and look at it on YouTube again.
Man. Dropping the gems.
We'll take a quick break and come right back and finish out the day here with a little bit more conversation and jumping back into the chat and a little wrap up as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Again, a fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Well, that's what you're witnessing right now. It's going down. Stay tuned. Be right back. Welcome back. First Guy Omaha in the morning.
My
name is Paul B. He's Buddy to God.
Hey.
All of you chat chammers, ghost listeners, and monitoring spirits, appreciate you very much. Yeah, man, that's what's up. Appreciate everybody that's joined into the chat and asking such great questions and coming on in with some comments and some things. And yeah, man, it's always a pleasure, always a good thing. I got to reiterate how proud I am of the chat. Most places you go, trolls after trolls after trolls. They just seem to think that you're just supposed to just get on and just be talking any kind of junk. I always reference this movie, this Jay and Silent Bob movie that came out a while back, where they were like printing out lists of people that were talking junk on the internet and just visiting them at their house. And I was like, I would love to do that. I would love to just roll up on somebody. Oh, you talking some junk? Say it to my face,
Man.
But fortunately, around here, our chat treats everybody as if we're speaking to them directly and asking direct questions. And man,
the fam.
No matter how hard the question is, as long as it's respectful and direct, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate that. Appreciate all of you. Thank you, everybody who's anything jumping out in the chat for you, buddy. Are you seeing anybody who
not really. I mean, I was kind of checking out RG, man. My mind is with you, my heart's with you. He says I'll find out. Asking about the plant that Senator Wayne was talking about. Someone asked if there was entry level jobs. He says I'll be losing my job in February, so that's a tree I may shake. So yeah. Again, job opportunities coming. If that's something you're looking for, check that out. Also, we posted about a job opportunity coming from Jocelyn. Again, Jocelyn Art Museum just recently reopened with a new wing. And yeah, it looks like they have some maintenance positions, some staff positions. Yeah. Some jobs.
Check them out, man. Jocelyn's one of the dopest spots in the world.
Man. Yes.
I will say that because I've done a little traveling of the world, and one of the things that I did when I was traveling was check out all the major museums all over the world too, man. Rome, Paris, London, all these spots. Jocelyn holds up. Jocelyn holds up to the bigs, bro, in a big way. And so yeah, if you get an opportunity to go check that out, then be a part of that. Cool. If that's not your jam, no, there's some other places hiring. Man, Great Plains Tree Care is looking for hardworking, honest, disciplined crew members to join our team. On the job training is available. Man, if you're young and ready to get your hands dirty on something that's more your speed, check this out too. This is going to be in Friends of First Guy Omaha. You can check them out. There's definitely some jobs around, man. I'm always getting wind of that in the circles that I'm rolling in right now. I'm getting wind of how many jobs there actually is out there for people who really want to get down and get it started, and starting at some pretty decent pay for the most part on most of them. We always talk about a livable wage. What is that? So the ones that we try to feature here definitely are ones that are closer to as close to the livable wage as we can get them.
Man,
do what you got to do, and hopefully that'll be something that we can continue to do here at First Sky Omaha too, is also be a resource not just for Black business but also for job opportunities and all kinds of things as well. So that's part of the information gathering that we're trying to work on over here at First Sky, and that's going to be something that we venture into as well. So anybody want to volunteer and help us with that, please let us know. We would love to know.
Big time. So yeah, big shout out to everybody who is working in the community as far as trying to spread awareness of job opportunities. Because like we're finding out, it's not a lack of resources. It definitely seems like a lack of communication, man. Like
information,
right. How can people get a hold of these things? Because the money's out there. So there you go. Before we get out of here, man, not much of a lightning round. There is one thing I did want to kind of point out. Again, I mentioned it earlier in the show as far as the impact locally from the hurricanes. It seems like the Nebraska hospitals are trying to pivot in a situation that has resulted in a shortage of. North Carolina has been hit with the Hurricane Helene. Again, hospitals, and not just in Nebraska, is actually something that's going on across the country, according to Katie Reesbig, who's director of pharmacy operations at Nebraska Medicine. She says the Baxter plant in North Carolina produces about 60% of the IV fluids used by hospitals and other health services. Some 65 products were impacted by the shutdown. Local impacts, however, depend on how much of a health system's IV fluid supply chain relies on Baxter. But like many health systems, Nebraska Medicine has secondary sources. But again, 60% of the IV fluids in the market nationwide kind of being impacted by this hurricane. So if you are or a loved one have to go to the hospital anytime soon, you should definitely look into that. Maybe ask some questions, and yeah, just be aware. That's the big thing. Again, the more you know, the better off you'll be. So yeah, some other impacts locally. So there's that. Pretty much that's about it. I don't know how much conversation we might need to save for a show about the conversation in regards to what Sister Majee Miller Jenkins was mentioning earlier in the show, the genocide in the Midwest or in the Middle East. Seems like there's some support coming from the Midwest in the Middle East. Several Nebraska senators recently signed a document showing support for Israel. So again, not sure how much conversation we want to have about that here on the show, but it definitely is something that is impacting and happening locally as well as internationally. So
I'd like to definitely say that for
yeah.
Wednesday, something to definitely talk about, since it's so connected to what's going on here in Omaha with our elected officials. So that's what's up. I did want to acknowledge Wanda Lewis in the chat saying we're talking about that situation. She says, "I hope they're not working with lead. After all, we're doing to clean up the lead that was left behind from other manufacturers." Talking about these new manufacturers coming in for sure. She says, "I'm the one who has the environmental degree. They don't think about those things. They only focus on profit, just like the money they routed to the Inland Port Authority without taking into consideration that they are building a floodplain. These are the same people." So some concerns there from one of our chat chimers that has environmental knowledge on things that are coming. This is the reason why we're in the situation we are, have to have lead remediation right now, because they just bring plants in without any kind of study. Manufacturing plants. I was thinking we do need manufacturing just in America in general, especially in Nebraska. Bringing manufacturing back sounds exciting to me, but it does have to be met this time with the idea that we better think about global warming and climate. We better think about environment, and we better think about all these things. So, yeah, hopefully that's what's happening. We'll have to definitely look into that to find out if that's what they're doing with some of these plants that they're bringing in here. And I'd like to learn more about the floodplain. So I don't know much about that. It's without taking in consideration that they are building a floodplain. So don't know what that means. I kind of got a little bit of an idea, but I'd love to learn more about what that means, and go try to find out if anybody's thinking about that in the places that they're talking about building. So there you go. Also, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying on the issue of the flood, probably not. I've been talking about flood mitigation, and again, Rick's Boathouse Cafe got flooded away and washed away once that river, kind of started to overflood, and actually the river was overflowing again this year. So it's definitely not, especially with all the storms and global warming, like you mentioned, and all those things are coming to a head as far as areas of investment and flooding. It is a real issue, and also a lot of the chat chimers have responded in the survey in the weekly wrap, saying that environmental coverage and news is something that you'll like to see more of. So again, thank you to Sister Wanda Lewis for mentioning that.
Appreciate that. Rome's Reviews in the chat says CDL is the cheapest and fastest way to get your certification to put down an application as a type of degree or certification.
Okay.
I also happen to know from the CDL program at Metro that those jobs are waiting for you, and they pay pretty good as well.
Yeah.
Also in the chat, Anthony Rogers Wright just landed in Palestine.
Speaking of the Middle East,
more soon. So we expect to get a Ta-Nehisi Coates report on what's going on out there. Let us know firsthand and seeing what's happening. So appreciate your efforts, and always staying active, man, and be safe out there. For real.
Yeah, big time.
Yep. 8:59 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, we're going to go ahead and get out of here, buddy. Got some words for the people?
Yeah. One thing I have failed to mention and forgot to mention throughout the show, but I want to take the time now to do so, is give a shout out to Sister J. Rogers, the House of Afros, Capes, and Curls. Did not give a shout out to the AfroCon, but if anybody went out to AfroCon over the weekend, let us know how was the fest for you? How did the con go for you? And again, in light of some of the things going on in the community, reminding us that Nebraska ain't for everybody. Yeah, it's nice to have spaces for in places where we can feel and be ourselves, man. So big shout out to AfroCon, big shout out to Jay Rogers, the House of Afros, Capes, and Curls, and shout out to everybody that went out and supported that, because we need more support.
That's right. Want to encourage everybody again, please go ahead and sign up for the weekly wrap. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat so you can do that. weekly wrap drops every Friday. Kind of wraps up some of the articles that we talk about here, and also some of the things that happen during some of these conversations here as
Yeah.
well, and also more information on what's going on in our world here at First Sky Omaha. So if you want to be a part of this and want to continue the conversation elsewhere, please sign up to the weekly wrap. We're trying to fight this algorithm because a lot of the information doesn't get out on the social media channels as well as we want it to sometimes. So yeah, go ahead and clean out that inbox and go ahead and get that information directly. So sign up for the weekly wrap. It's right there in the chat. Inside this week's weekly wrap, we gave a shout out to Mama God, a fam spot.
Man.
Child Chambers know her as Mama God. Deanna Simmons McGow is not only actual family, but one of the First Sky Omaha's biggest supporters in every way. She's a chat chimer, reoccurring member, citizen journalist, and more. Thank you, Mama God. And
Man, my
you're always on
Dukes.
here holding it on. My Dukes. There you go, man. Yeah, so shout out to you. Shout out to everybody who is a member and supporter of the channel as well. $25 people, the $10 people, the $50 people. Please consider being a reoccurring member of the channel if you are so inclined. Go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, and go ahead and sign up. And shout out to everybody who's not just doing this on a monetary level, but also in the chat supporting with us. So she's also a content creator alumni as well.
Man.
So Mama God has been part of the situation here for a minute. Really appreciate you for all that you do, and yeah, be looking for more shout outs to the chat chimers to come because we can't do this without you. You're our main the reason why we do this, and you're the support. So really appreciate it.
I got a quick correction on you though. We made some changes.
Oh.
Again, not a lot of fanfare, but now when you go to firstskyOmaha.com, there's not a donate button. You have to click the join button at the top, and then you can become a member there. So again, it's big shout out to all those who have already become members. And new website, some things coming, man. Not a lot of fanfare, but look out. Again, we are preparing and rolling out a lot of things with First Sky Omaha. If you're interested in getting involved, interested in contributing, we need your help. Check us out. Email us, firstskyOmaha@gmail.com. But yeah, again, hey, we'll work on that, Paul. We'll work on that.
Yeah. For me, it's the language. I be getting
you got the script.
getting caught in the cipher in the script. Yeah. But new things popping for sure. Definitely, like I said, weekly wrap. Some things on the website coming as well, and some opportunities for you to be citizen journalists.
Yeah,
we're trying to build this army of. So we really appreciate it very much. We're gonna get out of here. It's already 3 minutes past our agreement. And thank you for joining us. Thank you to Senator Justin Wayne, also brother Sherman Wells, and also Sister Tamika Renee. Tamika Mease came on through today, and we'll see her more and talk to her more on Wednesday.
Man,
so stay
tune
tuned
in.
for that. Please tune in for that. Yeah,
powerful.
Yeah, man. I get awed by some of the powerful situations we got going on here for sure. So, shout out, man. Shout out to Ashley Spivey, who's doing the work, man, and is out here really hustling for District 13, but doing more than that, man. She seems to be even moving past just the operation of the campaign. She's in the community helping and working and doing stuff, whether she's running or not. She's already doing a lot with IB Black Girl and a lot of other organizations and things that she's working on. She put out this Save the Date post is a little while back that has the dates, man, and we're right in the middle of it. It's less than a month away, that November 5th date, which is the last day that you can go ahead and register and vote. I think registration is even over. No, coming up 18th deadline.
Oh, okay, this week.
You got 4 days to register, and early voting has already started. So this is already going. I see people who have posted their ballots already. Like, this is who I voted for. So this is going on now. The vote is happening as we speak.
It's interesting.
Yep. So appreciate you guys very much, and I appreciate everybody who's doing the work. Pop says this show was great. Way to start the week. Wonderful show. Thank you, and see you on Wednesday. Appreciate you, Pops.
Thank you.
Marianne Williams says great show from start to finish. Thanks for Sky. I want to add about the tree care job. Caring for our trees is so important for the environment. I really appreciate that very much. Also, Tamika Renee is still in the chat saying Sunday, October 20th, 4 to 7, Town Hall at the Assembly of the Saints Church. Live debates with local candidates hosted by Sherman L. Wells and Jaden Perkins. Shout out to Jaden Perkins, man. He's behind the scenes doing a lot, by the way.
Okay.
Free childcare and free food.
Man.
So bring your kids and eat. You should have led with that. No, I'm just
yeah. Man, that's huge.
Yeah. So I appreciate it very much. Heather Williams said, great show today. Thank you guys for the love for the show. Yeah, we put a little work into it, especially Monday. We feel like Monday is a good day to really kind of get the information in our brains and figure out what we need to do for the week to make things better in our community. And that's why we make Monday the main show and have all the most information, bring on all the people that we can have the most information from, really kind of get some clarification, man. Like Buddy said, teamwork makes the dream work. And this is the team meeting on Monday. So appreciate you very much for joining us on that. We're gonna go ahead and get out of here, man. Shout out to the Omaha Tribe Elders in this Indigenous Peoples Month for allowing us to speak and be on the land in the first place. Shout out to our elders for allowing us to speak before you, and shout out to you, the chat chimers, who come in respectfully, asking questions and making comments and engaging in this process. Really makes it. This is the only reason why it happens. This is the outreach in a community conversation. It can only happen with you guys being here. So please tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend, people that you might think would benefit from this and can add and contribute and bring more information as well. Share the show on your page, and also go back and check it out if you miss any parts of the show in its entirety on YouTube and on Facebook. Check out all the chats when you do on both of those platforms. And yeah, like and subscribe and do all that stuff that you supposed to do over there on YouTube. Like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that. Please do that. We're definitely trying to get as many people on YouTube as possible because we got some new stuff dropping soon on YouTube and want you guys to take advantage of it. So if you haven't already, please do so, and please tell a friend to do so too, if you would.
Man, and also Tony Johnson, email us firstguyomaha@gmail.com if you're serious in helping out with that.
Yeah, appreciate that. Right on.
Oh, IG, no, we out right now. We getting off right now.
right now. Yeah, man. Yeah, you guys take care of yourself. Again, Tamika Mease on Wednesday, and another special guest coming as well. So stay tuned for that show. We'll see you in the meantime, between time. Peace out.
By the way, Vanguard, this is protected by the red